Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Primeco. With Primeco, you get better local rates, smarter roaming rates, and long distance included. So go ahead and call. It's Primeco. Dodge. In a perfect world, everything would be different. Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete. Hyundai. Where driving is believing. Subway. The way a sandwich should be. Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. AT&T Cable Services. Your local area Lexus dealer, who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. New York Life, the company you keep. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom.
Boy, it is a hot, sticky day at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Temperatures soaring to 91 degrees. I believe this is our first day over 90 all summer long. And the wind's blowing briskly out of the southwest or out of the ballpark at 12 miles an hour and a heat index of 97 degrees off the playing surface at Wrigley Field. Even hotter down on the diamond where the Cubs and Cardinals get set to battle in Game 2 of the series. Dave Otto, Chip Carey for our telecast today on Fox Sports Net Chicago. This is another big game for the Cubs. A disappointing start to this homestand, being swept by the Reds. Very nice rebound last night. A 7-3 victory as John Lieber beat Andy Bennis and earned a career-high tying 11th win of the season.
Boy, it certainly was, especially bouncing back after losing 3 straight to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati threw some pretty good pitchers at the Cubs that were throwing the ball extremely well. And the Cubs did a good job last night. Gracie getting 2 knocks last night against Andy Bennis. Pretty good pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. It doesn't get any easier today against Garrett Stevenson.
And the Cubs taking their time coming out of that dugout.
Everybody's
and
taking
who
their
can
time.
blame them? It is a smoking day at the ballpark. But the Cardinals come in leading the division by a 4.5 game margin over the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds were beaten last night 4-3 by the Milwaukee Brewers. And they'll be in Milwaukee again later on in the evening. In fact, Cincinnati will send Pete Harnisch against John Snyder. That game later on up at County Stadium. So the Cubs take the field finally. Jamie Arnold will toe the slab, and here's the Cardinal lineup he will face today. A virtually identical lineup to the one the Cubs beat last night. Fernando Vina leads it off at second base. J.D. Drew hits second and right. Then a slumping Jim Edmonds hits third in center field. Will Clark is having a great month of July. Fernando Tatis is at third base. Ray Lankford is in left. Edgar Renteria is at shortstop. Mike Matheny behind the plate. And Garrett Stevenson pitches and bats ninth against Jamie Arnold.
And Jamie Arnold has got a good fastball. His whole key is must command his off-speed stuff. Jamie Arnold making his first start as a Cub was 2-1 in Iowa with a 4.58 ERA. Now did spend some time in the big leagues with the Dodgers this year. 2 relief appearances, and also pitched in Albuquerque where he had a 5 ERA. And I'll tell you what, Chip, a 5 ERA in Albuquerque is not bad. The ball flies, and the Cubs are anxious to see what he has. Pencil him into that rotation.
44th different player to wear a Cub uniform this year. 49 is the high for the Cubs at a couple of years ago. And Don Baylor with a smile on his face. The Cubs gain a game in the standings. And this is your GM defense with Rondell White, Damon Buford, and Sammy Sosa in the outfield. Jeff Houston, Ricky Gutierrez, Eric Young, Mark Grace on the infield, and a battery of Reed and Arnold. So we're set to go on a smoking 15th of August. And Fernando Vina will lead things off for St. Louis. Vina went 1 for 5 in the game yesterday for the Redbirds. Singled and scored in the St. Louis first. Again, the Cardinals come in 3rd in batting average, 1st in homers, 3rd in runs scored. But they did not homer against Milwaukee in that Brewers series. They didn't homer yesterday. And if the Cubs hold them down today, that'll be news. Because the wind, as we said, is howling straight out today. A very hot, sticky day and a tough day for Arnold and Garrett Stevenson to pitch. But we'll see what happens. And Arnold into his windup, and we're underway. A quick strike, 0-1. Kerwin Danley is your home plate umpire. Brian Gorman at first, Mike DeMiro at second, Mike Everett is the umpire over at third. Vigna, a .301 batting average with 4 home runs and 26 batted in for St. Louis. He pops that one out of play for a quick strike 2. Vigna, great acquisition by St. Louis. They needed a leadoff man. They needed a quality second baseman. They got both in Vigna, who has committed only 2 errors this year and has an on-base percentage of .387. However, for a leadoff man, he doesn't steal much. Only 9 stolen bases, and that one almost took Arnold with him into center field. Another leadoff single for Vigna. That's 2 in as many games. So 1 on, nobody out, and J.D. Drew is the hitter. As you see, Jim Corno, our general manager at Fox Sports Net, throwing out the first pitch. It is Fox Sports Net Day today at the ballpark. Here's Drew hitting .302 with 16 homers and 48 driven in. Drew had a double in the first inning yesterday, extending his hitting streak to 6 consecutive games. And he almost got hit. Ball 1.
And Chip, as you mentioned, Fernando Vigna, although he only has 9 stolen bases on the year, he is a threat to steal, particularly with Mack out of that lineup. The Cardinals need to generate some runs.
McGuire is who Dave is speaking of. Mark McGuire, injured, of course, the patellar tendonitis. He has missed 34 in a row now, this being number 35 with the knee problem. Vigna starts, then stops, and a high fly ball lifted toward left. That'll be playable for Rondell. Flips the shades down, makes the catch, and back to first goes Fernando Vigna. 1 on, 1 out. Cardinals tell you that they're just not sure when McGuire is going to be back, and that has to be a terrifying prospect for St. Louis. They have a lot of games left. They are 6 games under since McGuire was disabled. And the Reds are nipping at their heels, and McGuire obviously a big run producer. But Dave, you have to wonder about the psychological aspect of not having the big guy in the lineup.
There's no question. I think that you hit it right on the head. Psychologically, to have that big thumper and Mark McGuire in the lineup is big. And mentally for a pitcher, not to have to face Mark McGuire. He really just makes everyone better in that lineup. And you mentioned Jim Edmonds is struggling a little bit, and it's been pretty much since Mark McGuire has been out of that lineup.
Jim Edmonds is now the Cardinal hitter. Really slumping is Edmonds, and I think this is the guy that has missed McGuire the most. There are some who say that Edmonds is great as a secondary star, but when the spotlight shines ever so brightly on him, sometimes he tries a little too hard. And Edmonds 0 for his last 16 for St. Louis. However, if he's going to struggle, I'll take his kind of struggling. Hitting .312 with 32 homers and 80 driven in. And
he's a highlight reel out in center field. He can run down a ton of mistakes.
Vigna starts, then stops, and Arnold misses upstairs.
Early on, Arnold just missing a little bit, getting underneath the ball a little bit. Needs to get the ball back down.
Yeah, keeping the ball down would be a real good idea today, because you don't have to hit the ball very hard to drive it out.
Chip, I tell you what, it's not a good feeling standing on that mound, having that breeze blow right at your face. Although it is a good day to pitch with the fact that it is humid. You can get loose in a hurry.
2-0. Line toward left. White playing deep. Comes charging in. Dives. Can't make the play. Knocks it down. Keeps it in front. Vigna on his way to third, and he'll make it safely. Jim Edmonds drops a sinking liner in front of Rondell White, who was surprised by Vigna going to first to third, and that's where the Cardinals have him. First and third with only 1 man out.
Well, Edmonds hit this ball on the end of the bat, and Rondell White did not get a great read on the ball, but boy, what a great read by Fernando Vigna. The ball right in front of him as he's rounding second base, and gets into third base after the dive. Good base running by Vigna.
So 2 on, 1 out. And here is Will Clark. You talk about a great acquisition by St. Louis. They needed a first baseman, and Clark has turned out to be the reincarnation of Babe Ruth. He's hitting .471 on this Cardinal road trip. He's hitting .409 with 4 home runs and 12 driven in. Clark has done that in 44 at bats for St. Louis. And Clark dances out of the way. Ball 2 nearly plunked him on the shoe tops.
Early on, Jamie Arnold struggled a little bit with his control. There he flies open with his front shoulder and almost spikes the ball down and in to Will Clark. But that's not bad. I like to have a hitter move his feet like that.
Then he went fishing high and away. Swung at ball 3. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, when you talk about moving a hitter off the plate, sometimes it's almost better throwing at his feet to get him moving his feet. Then all of a sudden you're a little uncomfortable at the plate. And he comes back with a good hard fastball, low and away.
Edmonds ends his 0 for 16 slide with a sinking base hit to left. Vigna's at third, and the pitch to Clark checked his swing and fouled it off. Good break for the Cubs there. 2-2 now. Just underway at Wrigley Field in Chicago, and you see Will Clark. Boy, what a showdown he and Mark Grace had in the 1989 playoffs. Clark, of course, that time was with the Giants. Will now playing with his 4th team. He's played with Texas, with Baltimore, and now the Cardinals. Cardinals have not been a good hitting team with men in scoring position. They were 1 for 11 in that stat last night. And Clark looked at one that barely missed outside for ball 3. So the decision for Tony La Russa, do you send Jim Edmonds here? You have a very speedy runner at third. You might be able to steal a run if the Cubs throw through. 3-2. Edmonds the lead. He is going, and the pitch misses inside, ball 4. So the bases are loaded now, and there's only 1 out. And here's a man that loves to hit at Wrigley Field, third baseman Fernando Tatis.
And this is another player that the Cardinals really missed over 50 games this year because of a severe groin injury. Cardinals are happy to have him back because he's taken a little bit of the load off of the Cardinals without Mark McGwire in the lineup.
Well, as Dennis Miller would say, is there any groin injury that's not serious? He does have a point. Here's Tatis, a .375 lifetime hitter at Wrigley Field. And he comes up with the bases loaded and the wind howling out. Cubs would love a double play. Tatis has hit into 7 of them.
And early on, Jamie Arnold has not shown his breaking ball. Boy, in this situation, you've got to come with it.
There it was, strike 1. Hope a big Cub fan, Dan Bell, is watching the game on satellite today. Dan pulling for a big second half comeback by the Cubs. We hope he's doing well up in Met territory in New York City. The pitch is in for strike 2 called. 0-2.
Well, Chip, Jamie Arnold started Tatis off with a changeup and then comes back with the fastball. Tatis, not seeing the fastball yet, is buckled. Not able to pull the trigger.
So Arnold way ahead, 2 strikes. And Tatis hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. On an 0-2 pitch, the Cardinals have the lead on a hit batsman. Well, he told you control has been Arnold's problem. And it's reared its ugly head here. An 0-2 pitch that got him on the elbow.
Boy, sometimes 0-2 with players these days standing right on top of the plate. There is not much margin of error. Up and in. Jay Merrill decides to go up and in, and he dots him.
Well, that's the risky run if you're going to go up and in.
Exactly.
Why not go down and away?
Exactly, with the breakable.
And if you have control trouble, keep the ball away from the hitter. And Tatis being checked out by the Cardinals training staff. He'll take off some of that body armor, and he'll stand over at first base. A very painful RBI for Tatis. Edmonds now to third, Clark to second, and Ray Langford, the St. Louis hitter. 1-0 Cardinals on a very odd play, a hit batsman with the bases loaded. And it seems that this year the Cubs have been awfully guilty of 0-2, 1-2 mistakes. Pitchers counts that have not worked out that way.
Chip, sometimes that 0-2 count is a difficult one because, as we talked about, up and in is tough, especially with guys right on top of the plate. You're going to dot them most of the time, and these guys stand on top with their armor, and they dare you to go in there.
So here's Ray Langford. Langford 0 for 4 last night. 3 flyouts and a strikeout. Langford will strike out on occasion. In fact, he'll strike out on more than an occasion.
105 punch outs on the year, so this is a shot that you've got to take. Get him out.
Threw it past him over the inside corner, a ball and a strike. One run should not be enough to win today. However, offensively, the Cubs have had some problems. Last night broke out of a 25-inning scoreless streak. And hopefully Arnold can get out of this first inning with only 1 run crossing. John Lieber got out of a big jam in the first. Cubs had him second and third with nobody out. He allowed only 1 run. And that was a big turning point in the ball game. He kept the Cardinals at bay for the most part until the offense got to work in the 4th inning, and Arnold misses again, ball 3.
Chip, you mentioned 1 run's not going to win this, and I think Don Baylor also recognizes that, playing Jeff Houston back at third base and Mark Grace in double play depth, trying to roll a pair.
The 3-1 pitch. High pop, shallow left. White does not throw particularly well. He'll battle the wind, makes the catch. Tagging from third is Edmonds. He will score. The ball cut off. Sac fly RBI for Langford, and the Cardinals lead by 2. That is the one weakness defensively Rondell White does have. His throwing arm is accurate, but not particularly strong.
Well, I just like the fact that he hit the cutoff man. I think that's important. Keep it in check. Men on first and second, as opposed to if he launches one there, all of a sudden you're sitting with second and third. Rondell White gets a pretty good position here, battling the wind. And as we mentioned, boy, that wind blowing straight out, it can dance out there. And he throws a strike to Jeff Houston.
So it's 2-0 St. Louis, and Edgar Renteria bats. He broke out of a long hitting slump of 0 for 14 with a 2 for 4 game last night. He also drove home his 50th run of the season. Renteria, a 2-time All-Star, made the All-Star game for the 2nd time in place of the injured Mark McGwire. 1-1 your count.
And you talk about Venia solidifying the infield. 2 years ago when the Cardinals acquired Renteria, that really shored up the shortstop position.
1-2 out of play.
Despite making 26 errors last year, he's got good range over at shortstop and can make all the plays. And what an advantage to have someone like this also swing the bat.
Renteria nearly out of that batter's box. The right foot on the white chalk line. Arnold misses away with ball 2. 45 games left, including today's, and 24 of them against teams in our division. That's the National League Central, a division where the Cubs have played 16 and 22 baseball. The 2-2 pitch. is popped up right side. Grace on the run, nears the Cardinal pen, and it's in the first row of seats. Again, the Central shapes up thusly. Cardinals 3-1 against the Cubs. Cubs 3-6 against the Reds. Also had a lot of problems with the Pirates this year. Pittsburgh's given the Cubs fits. We're 2-7 against the Pirates this season. We'll see them the final 3 of the year. 2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. And out goes Renteria and the Cardinals. But St. Louis tallies twice. They don't do it with a home run ball, but some little baseball. And after a half inning, Cardinals 2, the Cubs coming up. Cardinals get 2 in the first, and here come the Cubs on this windy day in August. Eric Young leads things off, followed by shortstop Ricky Gutierrez. Sammy Sosa pops number 37 last night. That ties him with Gary Sheffield for the Major League lead. Mark Grace is at first base hitting fourth. Rondell White is in left. Jeff Reed behind the plate. Damon Buford plays center today. Jeff Houston over at third. Jamie Arnold pitches and bats ninth against right-hander Garrett Stevenson, a man that's had a very Charles Dickinson-like season. It's been a tale of 2 seasons for Garrett, who started the year 8-0, is 4-7 since.
Boy, it certainly has. And Garrett Stevenson early on against the Cubs on April 6th threw the ball extremely well, going 7 innings, giving up 3 runs for the win. He's got an average fastball, not overpowering. He's got a big breaking ball, and last time out against the Cubs really used his changeup well. And in the first inning from Jamie Arnold, we didn't see his off-speed stuff. We'll probably see it early on from Garrett Stevenson.
The misses with ball 1 high to Eric Young, who brings a 3-game hitting streak into the fray today. And Stevenson, kind of a herky, jerky motion out there. He's a big man, 6'5", 208 pounds. And 55, an interesting number for St. Louis. 5 starters, and not a single one of them has missed a turn for St. Louis. What a luxury that is for La Russa and Dave Duncan.
Well, they've really put together a good staff here. And really where they've been struggling is in their bullpen.
Swing and a miss. 2-2.
And EY early on taking a big hack with that wind blowing out. You look at Garrett Stevenson's numbers, 149 2/3 innings pitched.
Popped up back toward us. And the count 2-2.
And in this day and age, 149 innings pitched and 151 hits, that's not bad.
Well, Stevenson's been the recipient of the 2nd highest run support total for the Cardinals this year. Gets about 6 runs a game. And there's a high fly ball hammered deep toward left, but not quite deep enough. Langford is over and battles the sun and puts it away for out number 1. That's the right idea. Today you want to have your uppercut swing in good form. EY hit it sharply, but Langford runs it down, and there's 1 man down in the Cubs first. The Cardinal defensive lineup has Langford in left, Jim Edmonds in center, J.D. Drew is in right, Fernando Tatis, Edgar Renteria, and Fernando Vina with only 2 errors. All season long, Will Clark is at first, and Stevenson and Matheny, the Redbird battery. Here's Gutierrez, and he looks at a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Reiki hitting .280. 8 homers and 47 driven in.
You know, Chip, you mentioned, hey, this is a good day to bring the home run stroke, but sometimes you can get in trouble doing that, particularly against a guy like Garrett Stevenson, who does change speeds.
Hot shot to Renteria. Grass slows it down. Edgar makes the clean pickup. And it's 2 up, 2 down, and here is Sosa.
And we saw that right there with Ricky Gutierrez. Garrett Stevenson throwing the changeup and getting Ricky out front on it, just enough to get him to roll his hands over and ground out to short.
Sosa hit number 37 last night. He's driven in 37 men in the last 36 Cub games. And Sosa with 106 RBIs. That total also leads the National League. His RBI high is 158, set in 1998. And again, with 44 games left after today, Sosa's got a chance to get to 150. He's been averaging, as I just said, an RBI a game, and that would be remarkable production the final 7 weeks of the year. The 2-1 pitch is in for a strike. 2-2. Boy, the opposition has been steadily feasting on that outside corner against Sammy, and he hasn't been able to do much with it.
He's got a pretty good sequence here. 2-0. He flips up a changeup. Good pitch, and then he goes back away with a good hard fastball.
Matheny dances outside. It's full 3-2.
Boy, I tell you what, Chip, I don't know if I'd want to go in on Sosa.
No doubt.
You know, away, and really, pitchers do show him in every once in a while, but primarily you get against him away.
High pop and out of play. So Sosa gets another swing. 3-2 on a blistering day at the ballpark. I tell you what, it sounds like we're complaining. We really have nothing to complain about. We've had a very mild summer so far here in Chicago. In fact, I believe today will be the first day where the thermometer has topped 90 degrees all year.
Great summer.
3-2 belted. There's your league leader. No doubt about it. Down Kenmore, and the Cubs on the board.
The left fielder for St. Louis did not budge, and Sammy Sosa got all over a 3-2 fastball from Stevenson, and boy, he tomahawked it. There was no doubt about that one.
So Justice Willow Springs Little League gets $100 from R.C. Cola, and a base hit by Mark Grace into center field. He's 5 hits away from tying Ron Santo for number 5 on the all-time Cub list. And the tying run is on for the Cubs. And our Napa home run replay, no doubt, right down Broadway, and he crushed it. 38 home runs for Sosa. And 107 driven in. And there's the coach, Ron Santo. 2-1 Cardinal game now, and White coming off a 3-for-3 game last night digs in for the first time today. Last season, of course, Sosa hit 63 home runs. He hit number 38 on July 30th. So he's a couple of weeks behind that pace, but still, as you all know, when Sammy gets hot, when the weather gets hot, he explodes. White sends a screamer toward left. Langford has to back up and makes the catch on the warning track. Sammy Sosa, number 38, takes over the major league lead, and the Cardinal lead cut in half. It's 2-1. Tomorrow's your chance to bring home a Cubs 1945 baseball cap. The first 10,000 adults age 21 and over attending the Cubs Cardinals game get a good-looking Cubs 1945 baseball cap. And of course, 1945 is the last year the Cubs won the pennant.
Jamie Arnold had only thrown one breaking ball up to this point, and that was to Renteria. to end the first inning. Well, it's good to establish the fastball, but at the same time, you've got to be able to throw your curveball or slider for strikes.
And Matheny takes a strike. I would imagine that as tough a day as it's going to be with the wind blowing out for the pitchers, Kerwin Danley, as hot as it is down there, is going to be as helpful as he can to move this game along. So far, his strike zone has been pretty generous, both down and inside and out. And that's not a knock at the umpire. I think everybody would be in favor of a much more liberal strike zone than we've seen in years past. 1-1 to Matheny. That's cued to right field, fair down the line. Matheny, a catcher, rounds first. Sosa comes up cleanly and holds him there. Second straight inning, the Cardinals have had their leadoff man aboard. Now Garrett Stevenson will hit, and we use that term somewhat loosely. He's 1 for 42, but has 10 sacrifices on the year.
And he will most likely square around 3 times. 1 for 42.
And he lays it down pretty hard, though. Grace going to second. Out there. Throw to first. Not in time. Great takeout slide by Matheny at second. He absolutely buried Ricky Gutierrez. Good, clean baseball play, and Ricky couldn't get enough on the throw to nab the pitcher at first, but the Cubs do get the leading base runner.
Well, there has been 2 great defensive plays. Sosa bouncing on Matheny's hit to keep him at first base, and Gracie bouncing around at first base, anticipating the bunt. And boy, Ricky Gutierrez got buried at second base. Great base running by Matheny.
I think the Cardinals said to Matheny, when you go down to second, flip him up there, because that's what he did, right?
Get him airborne. Oh, man.
So 1 on, 1 out. Not a bad idea to make the pitcher run the bases either on this hot day. And Vina gets under it, pops it up right side. Eric Young drifts back, and Stevenson back to first, and that's out number 2. Vina 1 for 2, and here's J.D. Drew. The Cardinals again have been a very frustrating team in one key statistical category. They have not been a very good or consistent team with men in scoring position. Now, they got 2 runs in the first, but frankly they had Arnold on the ropes. Had Langford been able to drive a ball in the gap, the Cardinals would have a much bigger lead than the one they possess. And a lot of that, of course, you can factor as the Mark McGwire factor. He's not here. He's not here to drive in runs. He's hurt.
Well, without McGwire in the lineup, a lot of times some of these hitters will get pitched around. And with Mack in the line, that's what I'm talking about. It makes Mark McGwire makes this whole ball club better, particularly swinging the bat.
1-0 to Drew. Took a little off and got it over for a strike.
And you know, as a pitcher, it's in the back of your mind. Oh, here comes McGwire. Here comes McGwire. And you make a mistake to someone ahead of him.
But you look at this Cardinal lineup, even without McGwire, it's still a very fearsome batting order. You've got Vina, Drew, Edmonds, Clark. First 4 men left-handed, then Tatis, then Langford, right, left, Renteria, right, Matheny the catcher, then the pitcher spot.
Oh, there's no question these guys can mash, and J.D. Drew is a great down and in hitter. We saw that last night. And really, yeah, absolutely. There are not too many outs in this lineup.
Well, the Cubs are hoping there are 27 of them with only 2 runs in, though. 3 balls and a strike. Lined out of play. Full count. 3-2. Downstairs, ball 4, another walk. Second in as many innings. This one comes with 2 outs, and here's Jim Edmonds. Never want to wake a sleeping baby is our motto in the Carey household. And Edmonds may have awakened. He ended an 0 for 16 slump with a base hit in the first inning. Two to one, St. Louis the lead. We're in the second.
And you mentioned that, Chip. When you're struggling a little bit with the strike zone, as Jamie Arnold is, hitters sniff that out and they start sitting on that fastball. All these Cardinal hitters going into the dugout.
Another hit batsman. That's 2 of them. And the base is loaded again. Maybe Jamie's mistaken that bat on the front of the Cardinals shirt as the bat they're carrying. The pitcher all the way to third. Drew to second. Edmonds to first. 2 hit batters in as many innings. 2 walks in as many innings. And that one got Edmonds, right on the outside of the right knee. And Oscar Acosta is on his way out.
Well, it seems like early on Jamie Arnold does not have a good feel of his breaking ball. So what he's trying to do right now is to locate his fastball. Throwing the ball in on Edmonds and hitting him in the first inning, throwing it in on Tatis, trying to move his fastball around, where sometimes it makes sense just to try and throw that son of a gun right down the middle and let it work for you. He's got a good moving fastball, and still you've got to try and find a way to get that breaking ball over.
Well, here's the man that will make you pay for popping your teammate, Will Clark, and he takes a letter high ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Clark homered in 4 straight Cardinal games, August 2nd through the 6th. Again, St. Louis has not homered yet on their road trip. Did not homer against Milwaukee. They did not homer yesterday. And that's ball 2 high as we've reached 2 o'clock Chicago time. It might be nearing midnight for Jamie Arnold, who can't throw it within a mile of the strike zone. And Todd Van Poppel getting up in a hurry. The Cubs may have to go to the pen early today. You're not going to get too many opportunities the rest of the year against the Cardinals, and every game is a precious one. Bases loaded. The 2-0 pitch, skied center field deep. Buford on the run, slowing. He's under it. He's got it. And the inning is over. Cardinals load the bases, fail to score. Their litany continues, and Arnold fortunate to escape the second inning unscored upon. All right, Chicago sports fans, the game room is now Chicago Sports Tonight. It's the same great half hour devoted to the Chicago sports scene, only with a new name now. Don't miss Chicago Sports Tonight, presented by Verizon, tonight at 7 on Fox Sports Net. On this very hot day, Garrett Stevenson only now has gotten out to the mound. He had to run the bases that entire second inning. And let's see if that serves the Cubs in good stead in the second inning, with the Cardinals leading by a slim 2-1 score. Great day to be out in the bleachers, but it's not a packed house out there. Those folks sun splashed, many shirtless. Hopefully everybody's got sunscreen on, because you're going to get toasted pretty quickly, both by the sun and some of the other enticements out in the outfield.
And I imagine Garrett Stevenson took a little ammonia bath in the dugout after running the bases. And there's nothing better on a hot day to take one of those towels and put it over your head.
Yeah, spirits of ammonia, a little water, some ice. It's instant air conditioning. It does feel very good. And all the fans in the sunny sides of the ballpark looking for a little relief. And the Cubs, fortunate to escape the second unscored upon, now send Jeff Reed to the dish for the first time against Stevenson. Jeff hitting .231, 4 homers, 22 driven in. And lifetime is 3 for 7 against Stevenson. And that's over the inside corner for a strike. Way upstairs, ball one.
And that's a pitch sometimes that's difficult to control on a hot day. You get a lot of sweat on your hand. And Stevenson, his first breaking ball of the day, looked like it slipped out of his hand.
Popped up left side. And Matheny nears the dugout, makes the catch, and there's out number one. The wind's starting to shift a bit now at the ballpark. It's still blowing out, but it's blowing from the grandstand on the left side of the park straight out toward right. So any pop fly foul hit on the left side of the diamond, you can't give up on because the wind's going to push it back toward the field of play. And for the left-hand power hitters in the game, you get it up in the air, it's going to go out to right field. Much more difficult to hit the ball out to left.
No question. I thought Will Clark's drive in the last inning, I'm sorry, in the top of the second with the bases loaded, I thought the wind hurt that a little bit.
Swing and a miss by Damon Buford. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cards 2, Cubs 1 in inning number 2. St. Louis 1 for 14 with men in scoring position in this series. A chopper hit toward Tatis, and he'll unload quickly, and there's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Jeff Houston will be the batter, and the veteran will take some time to try to give Jamie Arnold a chance to gather himself on that Cubs dugout bench. We'd like to welcome our affiliate AT&T Cable Services and their viewers in Countryside and LaGrange, Illinois, to the ballpark today. Second game of 3 with the Cardinals. Jeff Houston 8 for his last 18. That's a .444 batting average, and Don Baylor has said, I'm looking for anybody who can give me anything offensively at third base. Willie Green in a 1 for 20 slump. Chad Myers, not a third baseman by trade. Jose Nieves didn't get it done. The Cubs getting some good news, and Shane Andrews continues to rehab down at Iowa, and Shane might be here by the end of next week. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Houston.
And Jeff doing a good job defensively over at third base, including a big knock, big double in last night's ball game, driving in 2 runs. So he's certainly holding his own, swinging the bat, and he's throwing some leather over at third base. I think one of the big things with Jeff over at third base is he's got some range.
1-2, rolled foul past first. And the count 1-2.
And I think with Jeff Houston getting some consistent at bats, that's why he's swinging the bat.
2-2 now. Well, Jeff's been around a long time, and he knows the difficulty of the job being a utility guy, an extra infielder. You're not going to get a whole lot of playing time, and when you do, you've got to make a positive impression, and he has. Stevenson makes a positive impression, runs the bases, but comes back and works a 1-2-3. He's a real gamer, at least he's been today. 2-1 St. Louis after 2. Well, friends, Saturday, August 26th will be Oreo Day at Wrigley Field. Exciting Oreo prizes will be given away throughout the Cubs-Dodgers game, including an Oreo cookie jar, Oreo pajamas, and even a year's supply of Oreos. You can win with a lucky ticket number drawing or stop by the Cubs offices here at the ballpark for a free entry form. It's Oreo Day at Wrigley Field on Saturday, August 26th. Folks at Oreo better hope that neither you nor I win the year's supply of Oreos, because I don't think there's a truck big enough.
Oh,
those things are addictive. Here's Tatis. Tatis hit by a pitch and picked up an RBI. It was his 52nd of the year. That's downstairs, ball 1.
Have you ever been on TV after eating a bucket of Oreos?
A bucket? No. No, 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, just eat 1 or 2.
That's in the dirt. Reed takes a little punishment. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, this is how good outings sometimes start. Jamie Arnold early struggling, getting out of a bases loaded jam in the 2nd inning by getting Will Clark to fly out.
Rocket shot hit to left. White plays it on a hop. Tatis has his first base hit. 3rd straight inning the Cardinals have had the leadoff man on. Well, what qualifies as a bucket full of Oreos?
About 100. Oh, they're good.
I think what you're trying to say is the chocolate cookie gets stuck in your teeth.
Yes, yes. It's not pretty.
Here's Langford. Langford a sacrifice fly and the 2nd Cardinal RBI. We're only in the 3rd. We're zipping right along. Played 2 innings of baseball in an hour on a hot day, and that's in for a strike to Langford.
And Jamie Arnold, after hanging a breaking ball to Tatis to lead off the inning, going back to his fastball.
There's nothing wrong with his arm. It's just, can he harness his command? This is a kid that was the #1 pick by the Atlanta Braves 8 years ago. Went to Los Angeles, and he just hasn't been able to do it consistently, either at the minor league or the major league level. But he's got a chance with the Cubs, who are looking for arms in both the rotation and in the bullpen.
Boy, and that's the beauty of it, though. That's why you draft and you acquire players with good arms, because you can teach them the breaking ball or the changeup. You can never teach velocity. I mean, you can improve on your velocity a little bit, but boy, you can find something off of a good arm.
You can teach philosophy, but not velocity, is what you're saying.
Exactly. You can do a little bit to your mechanics and improve your velocity a little bit. But overall, you can work on that changeup and you can get that breaking ball.
Langford's hitting to only 5 double plays for St. Louis. 1 here would be nice. And the 2-2 sails high. Another 3-ball count. And Arnold's had a bunch of those. The umpires in the crowd thought that was good enough. But their opinion doesn't count. 3-2. Now do you send Tatis? I would think no, with Langford's high strikeout total. Let's see what Tony La Russa has in mind. With 1 on, none out, he's not moving, and that's why he went fishing, and there's out number 1.
Well, that was a good pitch. After backdooring him with the breaking ball for a ball, goes back to the changeup, and that's going to be a big pitch for him against left-handed hitters.
So Edgar Renteria is the hitter. He struck out his first time up. Now Renteria is your perfect ideal man for 2. He is hitting to 15 of the Cardinals' 80 double plays this season. Outside corner for a strike. Renteria 2 for his last 20. And again, this Cardinal offense hasn't been doing much. Ripped down the right field line for strike 2. It's 0-2.
And I think you hit it on the head, Chip. They just have not been able to get the big knocks, and we've seen that early on in this ball game.
Cardinals by a single run. The pitch lined up the middle into center field for a hit, and Tatis will stop at second, first and second with 1 out. And here's Matheny. Matheny has a base hit today.
And Renteria gets a high fastball, and that does not have the same sinking action as he gets when the ball is down in the zone, and Renteria stomped on it. Boy, it's amazing when you sit behind the screen and watch pitchers and see when the ball is up versus when the ball is down. You see the ball so much better when it's upstairs.
Matheny takes a strike. Jamie's been able to get ahead sometimes, Dave. I mean, he's been behind most of the hitters today. Let's be honest about that. But when he's gotten ahead, he hasn't quite been able to finish off the hitter.
Exactly. And the Cardinal hitters, you go back into that dugout after an at-bat, players are asking, hey, what does he got? What does he got? Well, he hasn't thrown his breaking ball.
There it was, and it's lined softly over short into center field for a hit. Tatis will round third. He will score. Renteria on his way to third, and Matheny drives home the third St. Louis run. And they now lead by 2 again, 3-1.
And even if you are sitting dead red, sitting on the fastball, if you get a hanger as Matheny gets here, you're able to stay back and just get it out over the infield to drive in Tatis.
So the Cardinals get 2 in the first, 1 here in the third. And Arnold already crossing the 50 pitch threshold, faces Garrett Stevenson, who has only 1 hit in 43 tries. But he does handle the bat well. Again, Stevenson with 10 sacrifices on the year.
Well, if he's 1 for 42, he's swinging a wet Sporting News instead of a bat up there.
It must have been an accident, the one he hit. Way high, and the Cubs thought they might be squeezing. But on a day like today, I'd be surprised if the Cardinals played for only 1 more run, because a 3-1 score under these conditions is not all that great. First and third, 1 in, 1 out. Cub pen getting busy again. It's Van Poppel, the 2-0 pitch. He's putting. It's the safety. Grace looks the runner back to third. The flip to first is in time. That was the safety squeeze. The runner did not break. The sacrifice sends Matheny to second. Second and third now with 2 outs.
And the only way Renteria would have scored on that play if Stevenson would have bunted it down the third base line to make Jeff Houston field it. He bunts it down the first base line.
Well, that's Chuck Tanner's favorite play. We saw him in Pittsburgh earlier this year. You can tell the opposition what you're going to do. Bunt the ball to third, and the base runner, all he has to do is follow that third baseman in. When he makes the throw to first, you take off and head home, and there's no way that the base runner cannot outrun that baseball. It's an easy way to score a run, but you're right, have to make the third baseman field the baseball. So a quick strike to Vigna with runners at second and third for St. Louis. Again, the Cardinals 0 for 3 with men in scoring position through the first 2 innings. They're 1 for 4, counting the base hit by Matheny. In for strike 2 call. 0-2.
Well, Jamie Arnold did a good job against Vigna in the second inning, getting in on him, and he rushes an 0-1 fastball inside.
No balls, 2 strikes. Struck him out inside corner. Vigna thought it was up. He thought it was in. Hot day, tempers might be short. Vigna punched out, and the Cardinals settled for 1. After 2.5, St. Louis 3, Cubs 1. Hot day in Chicago, and the temper of Fernando Vigna gets the best of him. He's been thrown out of the game. Tony La Russa now arguing with Kerwin Danley, who will of course file a report at the end of this ball game. And here's a look at the ejection of Vigna as he was called out on strikes with runners at second and third in the St. Louis third. You see Jose Oquendo, he did his job as the coach. He got between the player and the umpire. He tried to keep Vigna away. And Vigna just kept coming back for more and more and more. And Danley said, I don't want to hear it. You're out of here, son. Vigna ejected. La Russa still out arguing. And now the Cardinals will bring on a new second baseman, and I believe it's Placido Polanco, who will come on now in the bottom half of the third inning. That's a very big loss for St. Louis. Vigna is their table setter.
Well, at least Tony La Russa and Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire, had the good sense to move the argument a little off of home plate, because Garrett Stevenson was warming up, and I've been in that situation where I've warmed up and Jim Leland was arguing with the home plate umpire, and I hit Leland right in the back while he was arguing with the home plate umpire.
I'll bet that made him happy. Placido Polanco into play second. Vigna ejected, and Willie Green will pinch hit for Arnold, who went 3 innings for the Cubs. So everybody getting a little testy today. .64 pitches for Arnold in his 3 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs. And Green smokes that one high in the air to center field. Back goes Edman, still going back. He puts it away, and there's out number 1. Green 1 for his last 21. And here's your Fox promo. Your regional sports report is here. It's a half hour of local sports coverage like you've never seen. Get all the latest news, highlights, and analysis on the Chicago sports scene. It's the regional sports report tonight and every night at 11 on Fox Sports Net. 1 out, top of the order now, and Eric Young. 5 straight have been retired by Stevenson, and Young takes a ball high, 1-0. EY flied out to left, his first time up. Arnold also walked 2. Struck out 3 and hit 2 batters. And Todd Van Poppel will be the new Cub pitcher as we head to the 4th.
And really, you can afford that if you are Don Baylor, because the bullpen is pretty well rested when you look at it. Lieber going 6 last night, Cavado going 7 on Sunday, and Daniel Garibay flipping up 7 innings on Saturday. So if your starter does not have it,
EY pops that one straight up the elevator shaft. Will Clark in front of Polanco. 2 up, 2 down. Six straight Cubs have been subdued, and Ricky Gutierrez our final hope in this 3rd inning. Stevenson was originally a Baltimore Oriole. Phillies got him with Calvin Maduro for Todd Zeile and Pete Incaviglia back in 1996. Then went to St. Louis for Ron Gant, Jeff Brantley, and Cliff Polite. And he went 6-3 in 12 starts for the Redbirds late in 1999. That's over the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Big story today, Fernando Vigna ejected, arguing balls and strikes in the St. Louis 3rd. The other big story is they're leading the game 3-1. Lined into center field for a base hit. Tying run comes to the plate potentially, and it's Sammy Sosa who unloaded earlier. Last time up, you know what happened.
a 3-2 fastball out over the plate, and Sammy hit a bomb.
So runner at first, 2 men down. And that misses high and away to Sosa. 17 homers, 38 driven in the last 37 Sosa games. One ball, no strikes. Missed down, 2-0.
Boy, Sammy really has good takes. Really sees the ball well, and working with Jeff Pentland has quieted his feet down.
The 2-0. And he doesn't want to come inside, does he?
No.
He made a mistake right down the middle in that first inning when Sammy unloaded. And Jeff Pentland, the Cubs hitting coach, eyeing his pupil up there. With Gutierrez at first and 2 outs. Over the edge again, 2-2. Sammy not able to pull the trigger on that pitch over the outside corner. The Cardinals are in essence saying, look, if you're going to hit the ball, we're going to make you hit it out to right or hit it on a line to right. Same thing the Reds said to him.
Well, this is why I love this pitch right here, because Stevenson has painted 2 fastballs away. Sammy might cheat if Stevenson goes away again.
He won't chase that one, and it's full, 3-2. So Ricky will be running with 2 men out. Three balls, 2 strikes. Runner is moving. The pitch is outside. Ball 4. Here's Grace, and here's the situation the Cubs have been waiting for. A left-hand hitter who can drive the ball out with the wind to right field. That's the direction the wind is howling now, and a long ball would give the Cubs the lead here.
Exactly, and Gracie is really swinging the bat well. He hit a number of balls on the button against Cincinnati, and in the first inning of today's ball game hit a rocket up the middle.
3 hits in the series already for Grace. 2 last night, 1 in the first today. And that one hangs up and in for a strike. It's 0-1 to Grace. Grace just 15 runs batted in, away from 1,000 in his major league career. And the batting average slowly starting to climb. 9 of 12 years he's hit 300 or more. It's around 293 now, and that one up the middle. Polanco can't get it. It's into center field for a hit. Ricky will score. Sosa to third. Grace a big 2-out RBI, and it's a 3-2 game.
And how big is the argument with Fernando Vina? Vino gets tossed out of the game, and Polanco in at second base. Maybe Vina gets this ball. So Gracie gets jammed just a little bit on a breaking ball, and Sosa does a good job of rounding second base to get in to third base easily.
Rondell White hit a rocket to left that Langford caught, so he is 0 for 1. A base hit ties the game with Sosa at third, Grace at first, and we're in the Cub 3rd inning. The stretch and the pitch. Fouled back. It's 1-1.
Boy, Rondell White got a good lick on that fastball from Garrett Stevenson.
White, a very dangerous hitter, Tony La Russa said before the series started. And he really feels, as do the Cubs, this is a very nice acquisition for this Cub team. A guy that can be a real big run producer if he can stay healthy. And frankly, that's the big if. Rondell can play 140, 145 games. He should put up some very impressive numbers at Wrigley Field next year. 2-1 pitch, pop back toward us and out of play. It's 2-2.
He really is an unbelievable athlete, and he has worked with Jeff Pentland a little bit. Not Not so much changing his swing, but trying to get a little more lift in the swing. Certainly playing at Wrigley Field, that's what you'd like to get out of a Rondell White. Rondell White playing a number of years on the turf in Montreal, where it's a little different ball game.
Dave Duncan out for a quick chat. And now the count even at 2-2. 3-2 Cardinals now.
And Duncan going out because Stevenson has left the ball upstairs the last couple pitches, which is dangerous against a guy like Rondell White.
2-2. Here it comes. Low, ball 3. Jeff Reed, another left-handed bat, waits to hit next. So Grace will be moving. Again, there are 2 outs. The Cubs with a walk sandwiched in between 2 two-out singles are within a run. The stretch. There goes Grace in the pitch. Line. Renteria, good play. Only one play. It's to first and in time. Rondell White robbed. And the Cardinals maintain their 1-run lead. That ball hit like a rocket. And Rondell has nothing to show for it, but it's a 1-run game heading to the 4th. Time to take a look at our Aflac trivia question as we head to the St. Louis 4th inning. Which team played the most consecutive games without hitting a home run?
Well, I don't know that one, but on the mound for the Cubs, Todd Van Poppel, Jamie Arnold throwing 3 innings. And you look at the numbers there for Todd, 2 and 3, making his 37th appearance and 51 innings pitched. Pretty high walk total in 30, but he's got 50 punch-outs. 50 strikeouts on the year, and I'll tell you what, Chip, his stuff is all the way back. Saw him early on in his career with the Oakland A's. And Willie Green steps in at third base.
He'll take the place of Jeff Houston. And Van Poppel's going to hit third coming up. That's 8th in the batting order. It'll be his own relief pitcher, so to speak. Cubs won't pinch hit for him. You don't want to run through the bullpen very early in the game. Jamie Arnold went 3 innings in his Cub debut. And now we'll see how Van Poppel fares against Drew Edmonds and Will Clark. And a ball misses inside to J.D. Drew. J.D. Drew with 16 home runs, all of them against right-handed pitching this year. And that's the tough adjustment, I would imagine, Dave, for a young left-hand hitter, is getting consistent at bats against lefties and then hitting the ballpark out against pitchers you don't see too frequently.
Exactly.
Up and in. Rough start for Van Poppel so far. Ball 3, 3-0.
And J.D. Drew really got humbled last year, playing in 104 games, only hitting .242. I mean, this guy's going to be some kind of hitter, and he's showing it this year. Really swings the bat short and quick.
Three balls and a strike. Blew it right past him. 3-2. Todd, 28 years old, pitched with the A's, the Tigers, the Rangers, the Pirates, and now the Cubs. And he was a can't-miss prospect, or so the Oakland A's thought, who took him first in the draft in 1990. But it hasn't worked out for Van Poppel until he got to Chicago. The Cardinals have a leadoff man on for the 4th consecutive inning in this game.
Well, part of the reason why Don Baylor took Jamie Arnold out of this ball game, because of the walks and the hit batsmen. You certainly, when you bring in a reliever, you do not want to start the inning off with a walk. You want to change the rhythm of the game. You go back to attacking hitters. Edmonds
has singled, scored, and been hit by a pitch. And the Cardinals have had their opportunities. They've stranded 7 men through 3, and they're 1 for 5 with men in scoring position today. That coming off a 1 for 11 performance in that statistic last night. That's why it's still a 1-run game. But Edmonds Only the third Cardinal in the glorious history of that franchise to hit 30 or more home runs in his first season in that St. Louis uniform. Ron Gant did it in 1986. Dick Allen did it 30 years ago in 1970. And they've got Edmonds locked up forever. He fell in love with St. Louis, a great baseball town, a town that lives and dies with these Redbirds. Inside, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, as an ex-player, if I had to pick 2 places I'd like to play, one would be here in this town of Chicago, and number 2, St. Louis. What a great baseball town.
1-1, runner moves. The pitch outside. The throw is not in time. Drew had all the best of it there, an off-speed pitch. He got a great jump, and he steals his 9th base of the year. That keeps the Cardinals out of the double play possibility.
He really did. J.D. Drew stole that base on Todd Van Poppel. Todd slow to the plate here. Drew gets a monster jump, and even though Reeder throws a strike to second, Drew is in easily for his 9th stolen base.
So an RBI chance for Edmonds. A count 2-1 to the Cardinals center fielder. It's got to be a shock for him too, playing all those years out in Anaheim, where you're dealing with all those Dodger fans in Southern California. Now you go to St. Louis, where he probably hasn't been able to pick up a dinner check all year long.
Nope.
In that town. Edmonds hasn't homered in 13 days. That was August 2nd at Montreal. The last hit he had, however, before today was a game-winning hit. Let's hope he doesn't have one of those in store later on today. Good rip, and it stays 2-2.
Edmonds looking to get on top of a high fastball from Van Poppel. Probably a good spot to try and throw that breaking ball, even though Edmonds is looking for something to pull.
High fly ball launched toward left. White on the run. He's back there. He's got it. Slams into the ivy. What a play, Rondell White.
Rondell White got on his horse, a great read on the play, and makes the catch. And that was after Jim Edmonds in the first inning. Rondell White did get as good a read. Edmonds hit the ball off the end of the bat, full swing. Rondell White had to come in. That time he goes back and makes an unbelievable catch.
So Edmonds retired. Here's Clark. And he takes low. Boy, put a gold star by that play in your scorebook, folks. Edmonds robbed of a base hit and an RBI by Rondell White in left.
Tell you what, Chip, he was in motion immediately.
Daylight, and just back safely is J.D. Drew at second. Both the Cubs and Cardinals today have been looking for big hits. St. Louis stranded 7. The Cubs have left 3 through 3 today. 1 ball, no strikes. Clark pulls that one foul.
Boy, Clark is such a great low ball hitter, and every once in a while he will jump up and try and get on top of something. But as you look at the hot zone right down central, he can be dangerous. Oh, he's got such a pretty swing.
All those left-handed guys do. You can have a perfect swing from the right side, but for some reason it just doesn't look as elegant.
No.
1-1 pitch. Out in front. Good idea. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Todd Van Poppel pulling the string on Will Clark. especially after Will Clark got ahead on that fastball.
Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball, see you later. Runner at second, 2 men out.
Well, that is such a good pitch to a left-handed hitter. The breaking ball, back door. Instead of going down and in, you work it away, and Will Clark cannot pull the trigger.
So 2 outs, runner at second. And Dave, we have some tragic news to report up in the booth.
Oh, no.
The lovely and talented Kathy Kerr had been on a no sugar diet for about 3 weeks. She was trying to sneak an ice cream bar past us. I mean, she scarfed that thing down.
Didn't have a chance.
I mean, it was unbelievable. Surprised she still has 10 fingers left. Such table manners. I can't believe it. 1 ball, no strikes to Tatis. Inside corner. It's 1-1. Cardinals still can't get that big hit. They're 1 for 7 in the game with men in scoring position. And you have to wonder when they're going to start to really feel the heat. I mean, they've got a lead in this division, but only because the Cubs have not played particularly well of late, and only because the Reds have just started to turn it up now have they been able to maintain their 4.5 game advantage. I mean, this division is still very much wide open. And the final 3 games of the year for St. Louis against Cincinnati at Busch Stadium. 2-2 to Tatis. Ground ball, third base. Green knocks it down, picks it up, long toss across in time, and the inning is over. Drew got a leadoff walk, moved to second on a stolen base, but the Cardinals 1 for 8 with a man in scoring position today, lead by only 1. I'll look again at our Aflac trivia question. Which team played the most consecutive games without hitting a home run? I'm assuming that's this year. It's an all-time question. So the answer is White Sox, the hitless wonders, I believe. 95 games without a home run in 1907. Here's Jeff Reed. He's set to go in the Cubs' half of the 4th inning. A 1-run Cardinal game, and that's high for a ball from Stevenson. Jeff popped out to the catcher, leading off the Cubs' second. The Cubs with 4 hits, the Cardinals with 6. And a smash hit toward Polanco at second. He'll play patty cake and make the play. 1 man down. Damon Buford will stand in. Damon grounded out to third his first time up. A hot, sticky day at the ballpark. A lot of the folks doing anything they can to move some air. Get that air circulating around themselves on this muggy afternoon. The heat index at the start of the day around 97 degrees Fahrenheit. That catches the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stevenson's got pretty good stuff. Doesn't overwhelm you, but changes speeds pretty well. Moves the ball in and out, up and down a little bit.
Well, I think up and down, you hit it right on the head, because Stevenson threw a breaking ball to Damon Buford and then changed levels with that last pitch to Damon Buford upstairs. Now, Damon Buford in the 2nd inning tomahawked a high fastball. Be interesting to see if Stevenson goes back upstairs to test him upstairs.
2-2. Way upstairs, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Cubs beat Andy Bennis last night, who was quoted after the game as saying he's not out there with his full arsenal. He's not looking at it as an excuse, but it's something I have to deal with, he said. He's got a bad knee. And Buford is 0 for 2. He strikes out. 2 of those for Stevenson today. Again, the Cardinals have not had anyone but Henkin, Bennis, Stevenson, Kyle, and Ankiel start a game for them. Those 5 men have all not missed a turn. That's just like the old Atlanta Braves used to do before John Smoltz went down. Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, Avery. Boom, off they'd go. 1 strike to Todd Van Poppel, who hits with the bases clear and 2 out. Todd 0 for 3. Usually he comes in and doesn't hit, but he's on to work several innings today, we hope. And that's lined out of play. Rough night last night for Kevin Brown of the Dodgers, a man who makes more than the entire payroll of the Florida Marlins. 5 runs, 7 hits in an inning and a third, as his former team pounded him. Van Poppel takes strike 3, and the Cubs are out in order in the 4th. We go to the 5th. St. Louis on this muggy day still leads by a run. Here's a look at our Heineken game summary with the Cardinals in front 3-2. The Cardinals got 2 runs in the first inning as Jamie Arnold had some control problems. Mike Matheny also an RBI single. And Garrett Stevenson in these oppressive conditions pitching very well for St. Louis. Now both teams have left the field for the moment. And of concern is home plate umpire Kerwin Danley, Cub trainer Dave Tumbas, and Cubs team physician Steven Adams taking a look at Danley. As you see, his face very, very flushed. It's been a very long ball game. We've played about an hour and 40 minutes or so, and we've only completed 4 innings. And they'll get him underneath the stands in the air conditioning of the umpires room. And we're going to have a delay of some time here. So he's suffering from heat exhaustion, and Mike DeMuro, the second base umpire, is in the umpires room putting on the gear as well. We told you it's a very hot, oppressive day, and the umpire's trying to move this thing along. It has been a very slow ball game, and we hope that Kerwin's going to be all right. He's in good hands. The Cubs medical staff does a great job here, and hopefully they can get him cooled down, get some fluids in him, because that's a very serious situation.
And Chip, on days like this, I'm surprised that does not happen more often with the home plate umpire. All that gear on, you had a dark blue shirt on, and it's tough. And both sides really coming in early today at the ballpark. St. Louis, batting practice? No. And the Cubs, light batting practice. On these particular days, it really makes sense not to take too much batting practice. Stay in that clubhouse and stay cool and just get ready for the ball game.
And the fans obviously growing impatient. They have not been notified as to why the delay has taken place, but I'm sure that will be announced over the PA system at the ballpark momentarily. But any delay is worth it as long as you ensure the safety of not only the combatants but the umpires too. They take a lot of punishment back there. They take a lot of heat, pardon the pun. And Danley's had a very good game back there, and again, as I said earlier, hopefully he'll be all right and be able to continue when the series resumes tomorrow. We are expecting much more comfortable weather for the 3rd game of the series. The weathermen tell us that temperatures in the mid to upper 70s with a breeze coming in off the lake is what's expected. Now whether that happens or not, we don't know, but it will be a very refreshing change. But again, to complain about the weather really is counterproductive. We've only had one day today of temperatures hovering over 90 degrees or more. So hopefully better temperature conditions will be coming for the Cubs. This, of course, the only game underway in the major leagues at this point. The Cubs and Cardinals will put the first score on the scoreboard. And later on, the Cincinnati Reds will be in Milwaukee tonight. The Reds coming in just 4.5 games out of first place. Milwaukee today just placed former Cub Jose Hernandez on the disabled list. He's having some back problems, and that Milwaukee team has had some difficulty this year with pitching, with an inconsistent offense. Now they lose a man they thought would be a big-time run producer for them, at least for the next 15 days, and Jose Hernandez. Elsewhere, Arizona will be in Philadelphia. The Cubs will see the Diamondbacks this coming weekend at the Bank One ballpark. The Mets will face Colorado a bit later on today. Pirates are in Houston, and the Dodgers will try to get even with the Florida Marlins down at Pro Player Stadium. In the American League, Kansas City will be in Minnesota later on. Detroit is in Seattle. The Mariners playing great baseball. They are starting to run away with the American League Western Division, and they've done it with a remarkably different ball club, Dave, than the one you saw so many years ago in the old Kingdome. The Mariners would just pound away, pound away, pound away. Now it's a team that's built around very good pitching, very deep pitching, just enough offense, and an outstanding club defensively too.
And Mike Cameron's doing a great job in center field for the Mariners. That's a big loss, obviously, with Ken Griffey Jr. going over to Cincinnati. But at the same time, Chip, you hit it on the head. They are playing tremendous defense. And when you look around, you know, we look at the St. Louis Ball Club. They're getting it done, swinging the bats. They're having trouble with men in scoring position. But at the same time, to have that luxury of 5 starters every time out, not missing a start, that is an unbelievable statistic.
Especially in this day and age where medicine is so much more refined than it was even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Back 25 years ago, if a guy had a sore arm, he just pitched through it, and he might have had some damage in there. Now you've got so much more technology available to diagnose a problem a pitcher or any athlete is having. The opportunity for a stint on the DL is much more great now because everybody knows what the problem is.
Exactly.
And the Cardinals have been very fortunate in that no one has missed any significant time, at least as far as that starting rotation is concerned. And for the Cubs, that's been bad news today for Garrett Stevenson. Has made a 3-2 lead stand up through 4 innings of play. And we'll show you how it's happened. A look at some of the highlights from today's game 2. The Cardinals got it going early. Vina led it off with a single. Edmonds had a base hit. Tatis with the bases loaded was hit by a pitch. Ray Langford hit a sac fly, and it was 2-0. Then Sammy Sosa unloaded for his 38th home run. That leads all baseball. That made it a 2-1 game. And then St. Louis finally got a big hit. Mike Matheny drives a single, and Tatis scores. That made it 3-1. Then the Cubs get a 2-out hit from Mark Grace. That drove home Ricky Gutierrez in the 3rd, and that's where we stand now with a score of 3-2. Not sure how long this delay is going to be. Again, Kerwin Danley being attended to in the Cubs and umpires training room, and Kerwin Danley apparently reports that he is okay, just was overcome by the heat. So while Mike DeMuro gets his umpire's gears strapped on, let's step aside, take a break, and we'll come back to Wrigley Field with the score: St. Louis 3, the Cubs 2, as we get set to start the top half of the 5th inning.
Chip and Dave up here in the upper deck, and today it is Fox Sports Net Card Day. You got your favorite right there, Sammy, right?
Yeah.
How happy is he to have these cards?
He's very happy. We weren't exactly expecting it, but we came to the ballpark and they gave him out. I don't know. We're very excited.
They're very excited. We're very excited. We're very hot, so send some cold drinks our way. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Mitch. There's a look at Mike DeMuro. He'll take over behind the plate. And Todd Van Poppel begins his warm-up tosses as we head to the St. Louis 5th. Dave Otto, Chip Carey from a scorching Wrigley Field where the heat indices in the upper 90s. And that is not measuring the temperature down on the field where it's a good 15-20 degrees hotter. And we were both down there before the game, and Dave was sweating like a wildebeest down there. It's smoking today.
It really is bringing it. Todd Van Poppel will have no problem getting loose again in this weather. Tell you what, Chip, you know, with the wind blowing out a little bit, if it wasn't blowing out, it would be a great day to pitch because you can get loose in about 5 pitches down in that bullpen. Todd Van Poppel taking a couple extra, getting ready for his 2nd inning of work. And pitched out of a jam in the 4th after giving up a leadoff walk. Rondell White made a great play in left field to rob Jim Edmonds of extra bases. And Van Poppel came back to get Will Clark on a strikeout and Tatis to ground out to third.
So Langford set to go, and Ray 0 for 1 with a strikeout and an RBI.
Farnsworth keeping cool.
Whatever it takes.
Hey. Oh.
3-2 St. Louis. And an off-speed pitch in for a strike. 10-minute delay for Kerwin Danley. And again, the word from the umpire's room is that he's okay. And that's the best news of all. No balls and a strike, and Langford looks high. Ball 1. Wonder if Fernando Vina and Danley will meet now under the stands and talk out their difficulties.
Dinner plans.
Vina thrown out, arguing balls and strikes in the St. Louis third. Popped up out of play, 1-2 to the Cardinal left fielder Ray Langford.
Well, I started my professional career in 1985, and Kerwin Danley was a rookie umpire in rookie ball in the Northwest League. And it's great to see him in the big leagues as a big league ump. I understand he's okay. Just needs to cool it down a little bit.
He's not the only one. 1-2 is upstairs. Let me ask you this. Kerwin's down there. I know he's not feeling too good right now, but he never squeezed you in the Northwest League, did he?
Well, he did, because I used to, the bat boy would bring out drinks to him in the middle of the game, and I would poke holes in the cups.
Oh, that's nice. The 2-2. Struck him out again. Langford's strikeout total continues to climb along with the mercury in the thermometer. 1 up, 1 down in the 5th inning.
So he would take a drink out of the cup and it would just splatter all over him. Todd Van Poppel with a good hard fastball. Upstairs, Langford can't get his hands above it. Kerwin's a good man, even though he did squeeze me.
Here's Renteria, 1 for 2 with a strikeout. And he goes fishing. 0-1. Same 2 teams lock horns again tomorrow. Will the Cubs be going for the sweep? Will it be to take the series 2-1? Kevin Tampany against Darryl Kyle. Ball 1, strike 1, 1 out, bases clear.
You think Darryl Kyle's happy he's out of
Yes.
Coors Field? Oh,
yeah,
man.
that breaking ball seems to grip a little better in that humidity in St. Louis rather than the thin air of Denver. And he's been quite a find for St. Louis this year. Kyle with 13 wins. Stevenson trying to join him as a 13-game winner. Two balls and a strike. Two and 2. Edgar Renteria, the former Florida Marlin. And they gave up Armando Almanza, Braden Looper, and shortstop Pablo Ozuna to get Renteria in '98. A little pop. That should stay in play. Who wants it? Grace comes charging in, and it'll be the catcher, Jeff Reed. Hey, he looks like Slick Watts down there. Remember the old NBA Seattle Supersonic? He's got the headband working, and Renteria pops out to the catcher for out number 2. Todd's retired 5 in a row, and here's the Cardinal catcher, Mike Matheny. Matheny has 2 of St. Louis's 6 hits. Bases empty in the 5th inning. Willie Green, Eric Young, Ricky Gutierrez will lead off for the Cubs. Slow roller toward third. Green can't handle it. Matheny has an infield hit. A 3-hit day for Mike Matheny.
And when you're going good, you get the swinging bunt, and Willie Green playing back, not able to find the ears.
Matheny had a 3-hit day on the 4th of July. He's got a great chance for a new career high as he's got 3 hits in the first 5 innings of today's game, and that allows the pitcher to hit. And Stevenson is 1 for 43, but does have his 11th sacrifice. Outside, ball 2. 2-0. And now Jeff Reed hollers over to Mark Grace, go ahead and play behind the catcher Matheny. You don't expect him to be running with 2 men out. I hope Stevenson won't be hitting. That one right through there. 2-1.
Boy, a great day to get loose, and Todd Van Poppel really with a good fastball.
Right through there, evens the count.
You throw with a lot of confidence when you're facing somebody 1 for 42.
Well, if you can't be confident against a guy like this, you got some problems.
Take an ironing board out there and get him out.
Good cut though that time. Stevenson lives to swing again. Off day Thursday for the Cubs. Travel day out to Arizona. We play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm still hoping that Kerry Wood can get healthy in a hurry. That's upstairs, ball 3. Now Matheny will be running. Pitching matchups in Arizona: Ruben Quevedo, Kurt Schilling. Saturday, John Lieber, Brian Anderson. Sunday, a pitcher to be determined against Randy Johnson. Then we go to Houston. 3-2, runner goes. It's ball 4 to a man hitting .022. Infield hit and a 2-out walk, and now Placido Polanco. Well, that'll drive you nuts. I mean, you know he's not trying to walk the man, but still, lay it in there. That's what Don Baylor's saying. Here's a guy that's 1 for 43, and you walk him. And you turn the lineup over now to a much more dangerous hitter, and that's why Polanco hitting .339. Again, Fernando Vina ejected for St. Louis. The pitch is ripped into the seats for a strike.
You see a good rip there from Polanco, who's swinging the bat well. Sits safely in his last 6 starts, hitting at a .480 clip during that span.
Nothing in 2.
Boy, if you could bottle that last pitch, be a 20-game winner. Just a fastball that got away from Van Poppel, and it slid on him a little bit, moving away to a right-handed hitter. A sailor.
0-2. Mike DeMuro says not good enough. Again, we're working with 3 umpires now. Kerwin Danley, heat exhaustion. Mike DeMuro behind the plate. Gorman and Everett at first and third respectively. 1-2 pitch with 2 on for the Cardinals. Here it comes. A high fly ball driven toward right. A right at Sosa. He backs up, puts it away, and the Cardinals are done in the 5th. Again, St. Louis fails with men in scoring position. They're 1 for 9 today, but they lead the game by a run in the 5th.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom. And by the men and women of General Motors, whose commitment to quality brings you outstanding cars and trucks.
Holy cow, it's smoking at Wrigley Field. 3-2, bottom of the 5th inning. Willie Green, Eric Young, Ricky Gutierrez coming up against Garrett Stevenson, and it's time for our Toyota Everyday Fan of the Game. Today's Toyota Fan of the Game is Teresa Pudlo of North Chicago, Illinois. If the Cubs score in their half of the inning, Teresa wins a Toyota Fox Sports Net prize package with a hat, t-shirt, and pair of tickets to a future Cubs game. So good luck, Teresa. It's only a one-run Cardinal lead. Hard to believe it, the wind howling out as briskly as it is today, that only 5 runs have scored, and there's been only 1 home run hit, that by the Cubs' Sammy Sosa. But still plenty of time to change that.
The Cubs need to break up Garrett Stevenson's rhythm, who in the 4th looked like he started to find his rhythm a little bit. Striking out 2 batters and having a 1-2-3 inning.
Willie Green swings through it, and it's strike 1. The breaking ball is the pitch that has given Willie a ton of trouble.
You know, he's made a little bit of an adjustment here, Chip, and hopefully that will work out for him. He's closed up his stance a little bit. He's nowhere near as open as he once was. And hopefully, you know, you mentioned the breaking ball, and hopefully he can take that breaking ball to left field by being a little more closed.
Upstairs, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Because really that has been a knock on Willie Green, is where he only uses one side of the field. And as a pitcher, you recognize that.
Chop toward Clark. Funny hop. Great play. Pitcher covers, 1 down. How about that fancy glove work by Will Clark at first?
Well, he did a good job by playing this off to the side. And when you play it off to the side, you're able to get your glove up and catch the funny hop. If he plays that ball in front of him, that's off his chin. It's tough to play one off the chin.
Yeah. 1 out for Eric Young. He has really tried to uppercut the ball out of the ballpark twice. He's flying to left, popped to first. That one lined toward right, but Drew is there very quickly. It's 2 up, 2 down.
Boy, hit it on the head, Chip, with Eric Young. When he gets on top of the ball and drives it to right field, that's when he can get it going. And today, EY with 3 pop-outs. And this pitch inside out, normally he gets on top of that. But Garrett Stevenson with a good hard fastball beats him.
A strike to Gutierrez. Ricky with a single with 2 outs in the 3rd, and scored our 2nd run of the day. And Stevenson continues just to change speed and mesmerize the Cub hitters. He's given up just 4 hits on the day. Cubs, frankly, lucky to be within 1. Cardinals have left a man in every inning today. They've left 10 men through 5 and have only a 1-run advantage. 2-2 to the Cubs shortstop. Sammy waiting on deck.
Stevenson's done a good job of working the outer half to righties, and part of it is he stands all the way over on the left side of the rubber.
There you go. Nope. Ball 3.
And Chip, I like that all the way over there because you can dot the outside corner, and then when you come in on a righty, you create a little bit of an angle in.
That misses low and in, and he walks Gutierrez with 2 outs, and Sosa coming up. Only the 2nd walk, and let's see how costly this one could be. So still hope for Teresa Pudlow in our Toyota fan of the game inning. Sosa launched number 38 in the 1st inning. Again, the Cubs have done all of our scoring with 2 outs today.
Boy, I love this matchup because Stevenson has gone every pitch away with the exception of the home run.
Another pitch away. It's a strike.
See, and this is where Sammy does a pretty good job because he will cheat a little bit and he will get out there to get that outside pitch and drive it to right field.
No balls, 1 strike. Matheny a good stop. Their teams are going to keep pitching to Sammy away until he decides he's going to drive the ball to right. Once he does that a couple of times, then they'll try to sneak the ball past him inside again. So it's up to Sammy to make the adjustment. But don't forget, too, if the pitcher makes a mistake, he's still a good enough hitter to capitalize on it. 1-1. Up and away. 2 balls and a strike.
And you can tell when a hitter is cheating and trying to get to the outer half, because if you throw a pitch in, they give a goofy swing and they foul the ball back behind first base.
The 2-1. Oh, he's a little anxious now. That was up over his head practically. Should have been a 3-1 count now, and Sammy knows it. 2-2.
Sammy's eyes lit up like a pinball machine. Stevenson hung a breaking ball. Sammy's been doing a good job on that pitch, even though it's out of the zone, of tomahawking it.
Stevenson with that good off-speed stuff has been tough on the Cubs and on Sammy too. 2-2 pitch, away and high. 3-2. Grace waiting on deck. He drove in our second run with 2 outs in the third, and Gutierrez will be running with 2 outs and a full count to Sosa. Ricky a short lead. There he goes. The pitch cut on and miss. Sosa strikes out. And we're through 5 in Chicago. Cardinals 3, Cubs 2. Back with more from Wrigley after this. 3-2 is your score. Let's show you the pitch sequence of Garrett Stevenson to Sammy Sosa.
Well, he's really changing speeds well and working the ball away, not even coming close to inside, with the exception of one hanging breaking ball. And he finishes Sammy Sosa off with a breaking ball lower and slower down in the zone.
So our webfan.com delivery of the day, unfortunately, sees Sosa strike out. And we move to the 6th inning now with J.D. Drew leading things off for St. Louis. Drew walked when Van Poppel first faced him in the 4th inning. Did he check it? Yes, he did. 1 ball, 1 strike. Drew goes fishing, and it's 1-2. Upstairs, it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And after getting a swing from J.D. Drew up in the zone, Todd Van Poppel and Jeff Reed go back upstairs.
The breaking ball rolled foul past first.
See, now that's irritating. You throw 2 good fastballs upstairs and you make the perfect pitch down with the breaking ball. And big league hitters find a way to foul that son of a gun off.
2-2 with the bases empty, and he goes up and away again, and Drew goes up and away to the Cardinal bench. He's 0 for 2, and there's out number 1 in the 6th.
And a good hard fastball, getting 2 strikes up there. J.D. Drew looking for something down, can't get his hands on top. Ball was by him.
Here's Jim Edmonds. His single snapped an 0 for 16 slump. He's been hit by a pitch and was robbed by Rondell White, who made a great running catch and tangled with the ivy and left to rob him in that 4th inning.
And got just a tremendous jump. Jim Edmonds will take a shot to left field. We saw early in the season some opposite field power.
That one pulled, and it almost picked off his first base coach, Dave McKay, and it scatters the Cardinal pen. 0-2 to Edmonds. They're waving the white towel at him. Hit it fair, Jim. He was just making sure everybody's awake down there. There's a drive, hit deep to right. Sammy on the run, at the wall, he's got it. 2 men down. He just missed it, got a little too much of the top hand. Had he hit it on the bottom half of the ball, it would have sailed out. But it's out number 2.
And with the top hand, the ball has a little bit of overspin. And Sammy Sosa getting a good job. Van Poppel thought it was gone. He knew he got away with the pitch.
Yeah, he's saying, doggone it, I got to get the ball down. But Todd's worked. 2 2/3 scoreless. And here's Will Clark. Clark 0 for 2 with a walk today. That's in at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 6th inning, Grace, White, and Reed are due for the Cubs. Did he check it? No, he didn't. It's a strike to Clark. Will wants to know who made the call, and the home plate umpire, Mike DeMiro, says it was Mike Everett on the appeal.
And last time out, Todd Van Poppel threw a backdoor breaking ball. That last pitch from Van Poppel was a little bit harder. And Will Clark was not able to check his swing. This looks just like a fastball, and the bottom drops out. Well, that was close.
So the count is 2 strikes to Clark, who is again 0 for 2 today. And that one ripped over Eric Young into right field for a base hit. Boy, we make a lot of 2-strike mistakes. And Clark has his 9th hit for the Cardinals on this road trip, a 2-out single here in the 6th inning. And that'll bring Tatis up. Tatis 1 for 2 with an RBI. He was also hit by a pitch. Ground ball toward Grace. Backhanded stab. Steps on the bag. Hitting over. Bottom of the 6th inning rolls around. Mark Grace is 2 for 2, and he's leading things off in a 1-run game. Don't forget, friends, you can join Don Baylor, Sammy Sosa, Ryan Sandberg, and many more Cub greats at the 16th Annual Cubs Convention at the Chicago Hilton Towers during the weekend of February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of 2001. For room reservations, call the Hilton now at 312-922-4400. Boy, those rooms go fast. And for more information, call the convention hotline at 773-404-CUBS. You can also visit the Cubs internet site at www.cubs.com for more convention information. Folks, it's a blast. You won't want to miss it. If you've never been, head on down to the Hilton Towers in early February and find out what it's all about. It is a great way to start thinking about baseball in the deep, dark, gloomy days of winter.
That's right.
Ladd misses to Grace. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, it's just great to see current players and former players show up.
Grace up the middle, a base hit. He's 3 for 3. And for the first time today, the Cubs have a leadoff man on.
Well, when Gracie's swinging the bat good, he is going up the middle with everything. And this is no exception. Getting the inside fastball, pulling his hands in, and getting it out of his kitchen for his third knock. And Gracie now hitting 297, getting near that 300 mark.
So here's Rondell White. He takes a quick strike over the outside corner. Some of the Cardinal penmen starting to stretch and strain down in the pen as we mosey along through the middle innings here. And mosey is the key word. We've played 5.5 innings in an over 2 hours and 15 minutes, and White almost got tattooed. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rondell.
And Rondell getting caught, looking out over the plate. And Stevenson does a good job of rushing him inside.
Ground ball toward third. Tatis backs up. He'll go to first, and Clark has the bag. What a play. Tatis with a gem over at third. White, though, at the very minimum, got the runner to second base with less than 2 out. Look at this play.
And with Rondell White not 100%, Tatis can afford to move back on this ball. And boy, that's got to be so tough for Rondell White right now. Still nursing the hamstring a little bit, not 100%, because when he's right, he's beating that ball out.
So here's Jeff Reed looking for his first base hit. One here would tie the game. And the Cub pen getting busy as Van Poppel's spot is 2 hitters away. It's Kyle Farnsworth, who's up down the left field line. That's in for a strike, 2.
Well, there hasn't been a whole lot of pitches right down the middle today from Garrett Stevenson. He's doing a great job of painting the inside corner against lefties and throwing breaking stuff away.
Nothing in 2 to Reed. If he can take one up the middle, he'll tie the game. And that one almost sailed to the backstop. Matheny's left arm stretched out, and he made the play.
And this pitch just getting away, and boy, that's a tough pitch to catch. Matheny bouncing around behind the plate. Made it look easy.
Rip straight back.
Stevenson up to 97 pitches, and I'll tell you what, on a day like that's a lot of pitches. I'm sure he's feeling it on the mound.
For a hit. It would tie it up at 3 apiece. Inside. 2-2.
Stevenson reaching back for a little extra. The fastball had some good hair on it.
Two. High, lazy fly, shallow right. Polanco out, Drew in. He's under it. He's got it. 2 down. So Reed is 0 for 3. It'll take a 2-out Damon Buford hit if the Cubs should equal the score here. Both teams playing very sluggishly in the weather today. Now you've got the pitcher spot due up next. Brant Brown's grabbed the bat. He would pinch hit if Buford could reach here. Damon 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
And last time up, Stevenson got Damon on the strikeout with the changeup.
That missed. Ball one. He's been ahead of most of the Cub hitters today. That's the big difference between Stevenson and Arnold today. 1-0. Little cloud cover over the ballpark now. That's cooled things off just a tad. 2-0 now. You're going to see a lot of folks walking out of here looking like lobsters. Some roasted baseball patrons on Chicago's north side. Two-0. Wow, that's a strike. 2-1. See Damon Askin outside corner.
And usually a hitter in that case is going to go. Is that as far out as you're going to go? As that looked outside.
And if you go back out there, the hitter's got to take a hack at it. Buford did. That might have been a ball as well. Had a huge difference in the count. Rather than 3-1, it's now 2-2.
Exactly, and Damon Buford does a good job of spitting that one out and nicking it.
The 2-2 pitch in the dirt. Matheny and I stop. Again, we've talked at length about the Cardinals' inability to drive home runs with men in scoring position today. The Cubs have had one such chance. Grace cashed it in. Damon Buford has the second chance. Cardinals are 1 for 9 today and have left at least one man in every inning. They've left 11 through 6, as a matter of fact. The pitch. Strike him out. Inning over. Boy, the Cubs just can't get the big hit. Buford goes up and away. Stevenson strikes out his 5th man. And 6 innings are in the books in Chicago with the Cardinals leading by a run. Our 4-game summary shows the Cardinals leading by a 3-2 score. Mark Grace a 3-hit day today. But he has 3 of the 5 Cub hits. Sammy Sosa has another one. That was a solo home run. The Cardinals have left at least one man in every inning. Garrett Stevenson's made a 3-2 score stand up through 6. And now we go to the 7th inning. As it is a slumbery type of day. A hot, sticky August afternoon at the ballpark. And here's Ray Lankford, and he takes a ball inside. Todd Van Poppel has gone 3 scoreless innings. Todd has struck out 3 men, walked 1, and has surrendered a pair of hits, but has pitched well in relief.
He really has, and with a good hard fastball today, and every once in a while throwing that breaking ball downstairs.
Well, that one a blazing fastball in for a strike. 1-2 your count.
I really think Todd's whole key was to get physically right. Battled a bad back throughout his career.
Breaking ball popped out of play. Lankford didn't go. And it's 2-2. Interesting story out of Arizona today. The Arizona Diamondbacks have had another cash call. They've had to borrow $20 million more. 3rd straight year the Diamondbacks have had to borrow or have a cash infusion of $20 million or more. $29 million after their first year, $24 million last year, and $20 million this year to meet operating expenses. That is not a good sign.
Wow.
$73 million in 3 years. Arizona banking big that the veteran team is going to win it all and translate into greater attendance. It hasn't happened. And Lankford draws what could be a very costly leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. So That's the third Van Poppel walk. And here's Renteria. Renteria struck out, popped out, singled in the third. And St. Louis has left 11 men on base today. Cubs fortunate to be within a run, quite frankly. But that's part of the game. Pitching has been very solid by Van Poppel. He's done his part. Now the Cubs bats have to come to life. We've had one of those slumbering days offensively again today. Remember, the Cubs yesterday had a string of 25 innings and a third without a run. Finally scoring 4 times in the fourth. We've put 2 on the board through 6 today. And there's a line drive down the left field line by Renteria, and it's out of play. 4 strike 1.
And Kyle Farnsworth heating up down the left field line. This is really uncharted territory for Todd Van Poppel. He's got 2 outings of 3 innings here in his 4th inning, so he might be feeling it a little bit. And a day like this, you can get gassed in a hurry.
And I think Don Baylor's seen enough. Van Poppel out behind the mound, takes off his hat, puts the glove on his hip. Does not look too happy right now. But Baylor knows the importance of this ball game for the Cubs. He's going to pull Van Poppel, it appears, at a very odd time with Renteria down 1 strike. So Farnsworth's going to get the call. And the Cubs will make another switch as well, for the pitcher spot is due up first in the bottom half of this 7th inning. So it's Kyle Farnsworth on, Van Poppel out, 3 scoreless innings plus for Todd. And we'll see how Farnsworth does. Can he cool off the Cardinals? Find out next. Well, which Kyle Farnsworth will the Cubs see today? Will it be the Kyle Farnsworth that threw 2 scoreless innings against Cincinnati on August 13th? Or will it be the Kyle Farnsworth that pitched in San Diego August 6th and gave up 3 runs in an inning? This is a man that has enormous potential. A great arm, great stuff, a physique that you look at and say he can't miss. But missing has been the problem, for he has missed the strike zone a lot, and he hasn't missed the opposition's bat a lot. And Gary Matthews Jr. in the double switch to play center field. He will bat in the 8th spot in the order. Farnsworth bats 7th. And Renteria digs in with a count of no balls and a strike.
Well, I think that's the key word. Bases on balls. 34 walks in 54 innings. His whole key is to locate his fastball and also get that breaking ball over.
Well, this is an interesting situation too for Farnsworth. He has not come in all that many 1-run or 2-run games this year. And this is the spot the Cubs are trying to find out if he can be successful. A high drive hammered center field. They'll test Matthews early. That ball's really crushed, folks, and that ball's off the ivy. Streaking around second is Langford. He's on his way to third. Langford's going to round third. He's going to try to score. The play at the plate, not in time. 1 pitch, 1 run, and the Cardinals lead again by 2. Close the book on Van Poppel. 1 run and 3 innings plus, and that didn't take Renteria and the Cardinals long.
And Renteria got on a fastball. And even if you're bringing the gas, big league hitters can put wood on a bullet. And once Matthews bobbled it in center field, Ray Langford was able to score despite a strike from EY.
But again, a fat pitch to Renteria, and he crushed it. And another man in scoring position for St. Louis with nobody out. Cubs looking for a Matheny bunt. He is 3 for 3 today. Grayson Green even at the bag. Farnsworth spins and fakes towards second. So the Cardinals build their lead to 4-2. Wild pitch. Somebody better cover the plate.
Renteria had thoughts.
Well, that ball ricocheted toward the Cub dugout. Had it bounced in, he would have been able to score. And so far, the question I posed is proving to be the most unfortunate of circumstances.
Well, one thing you have to do as a reliever coming into a game, and particularly a tight ball game, is you have to get the breaking ball over early. And Kyle Farnsworth trying to throw his first slider, comes around it, and he misses badly.
So now the infield has to come in with a man at third and nobody out. Way out in front. And the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Maybe the Cardinals figured out what to do today. Don't get guys at second and third. Double them in from first. Then you don't have to worry about that runners in scoring position average. That's what Renteria just did. The squeeze is on, and he's a dead man. Perfect pitch. That one slid away from Matheny. Couldn't get the bat on the ball. And Renteria is out trying to steal.
One of the greatest plays in baseball. Farnsworth has got no chance to recognize that this play is coming, but he catches a break. Matheny's not able to lay it down. And Renteria is a dead duck.
So the bases are empty now. 1 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. To the Cardinal catcher. The old saying, play for a run, sometimes you lose by a run. Still 3 at bats left for the Cubs, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and it's only a 2-run game, and the wind blowing out still. That might prove to be the biggest play in this game. The 2-2 pitch. And down he goes. Filthy pitch from Farnsworth. Strikeout number 1.
Boy, that certainly was just a fastball that he got great extension on, and the ball explodes, and Matheny does not have a chance.
Surprised they put the squeeze on with a guy who's 3 for 3 today. That's why Tony La Russa's the manager and I'm not. He had his reasons. We'll try to find out what they were at the end of the ball game. And a time for tomorrow's game 3. Getting nervous yet?
Nope.
You and Gale are getting ready to sing here. Way outside. That's the ball to Garrett Stevenson. He is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice and a walk. He's 1 for 43 as a hitter. The 1-1 pitch.
Bottle that. That's filthy.
Wonder who Stevenson got his hit off of.
Whoever it is, he lost some money in Kangaroo Court.
Well, he got it against the Giants on June 21st. We know that. And Farnsworth strikes him out. Cardinals get a run. A double by Renteria. They extend their lead to 4-2. And let's welcome Dave Otto and Gale Fisher for our 7th inning stretch.
Oh.
Bottom of the 7th inning rolls around. It's a 4-2 Cardinal lead. Kyle Farnsworth, after giving up that leadoff double, settled down very nicely. They got Renteria trying to steal home. Then he struck out Matheny. He struck out Stevenson. And now it's time for the Cubs bats to come to life. And Gary Matthews Jr. will be the first man to face the Cardinal right-hander, who's pitched very impressively today. And first of all, congratulations, Dale and Gabe. You guys, Gale and Dave, excuse me, you survived the 7th inning stretch. Gale, you're a much, much better subject. I mean, it's not even close.
Well, thanks, Chip. Yes, we survived, and we didn't even rehearse that. Can you believe that?
No,
it was like
really,
we'd rehearsed that for days.
I really can't.
That was a lot of fun. I just hope now. I know Dave has to be paying attention to this game because I was busy having fun in the stands.
Yeah, so you get to.
We got to do the post game. I hope he knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of air conditioning down in that field too. For post game, right? Almost as much as up here. Strike to Matthews. It's 0-1.
It's a sauna up here.
Oh man. I don't know how the folks can do it out in those seats, man. It's smoking. We've already had the umpire leave with heat exhaustion. Kerwin Danley, we understand he's okay. And we know the players are suffering through too. For those uniforms aren't exactly breathable material down there. 2 quick strikes to Matthews as the Cubs trail by a pair late. Good cut, fouled straight back.
And Gail, on that post-game show, this is not sweat. This is just water on my shirt right now.
It's like you took a shower.
That's right.
Gail, what's it like working with a guy that sweats like a wildebeest? I mean, it's amazing.
Well, they keep that studio at about 60 degrees.
Well, do you make him that nervous that he's...
That's right.
Probably. Well, not as nervous as I was last week, Chip, when you were in L.A.
Aha.
I'm not wiping my brow anymore.
I understand. Strike 3 to Matthews. And that's 6 for Stevenson, and 1 away in the 7th inning. You can wipe whatever you want. That's, I think, what I said at the time, and I'm standing by that.
All right.
Here's Willie Green, and now Don Baylor out to argue. What in the world's he arguing about? I think someone might have been run from the ball game, and if so, Cubs already have lost Damon Buford from this game. Come on, argue balls and strikes. It's grounds for automatic ejection. I don't know if anybody was run after Matthews was called out on strikes. Now Renee Latchman over talking to Baylor, and Don walks out. It starts to head for the tunnel, so he might have been thrown out arguing as Matthews was called out on strikes.
And Stevenson all day long has been painting, particularly the inside pitch. And that may have been the reason right there.
Well, again, it's strike 1 to Willie Green. A high chop off the plate. Easy play for the pitcher, and he makes it. 2 up, 2 down. Cubs have not handled this dazzling assortment of off-speed stuff that Stevenson's tossed up there all day long. 2 outs, top of the order, Eric Young.
Dave, disappointing day for Jamie Arnold.
Yeah, not a good outing for him. And really, I thought the problem early on was he wasn't able to get his breaking ball over. Boy, with the Cardinals, and Chip and I have talked about, the Cardinals have not done a good job with runners in scoring position, but at the same time, we've gotten a couple big knocks.
And this guy, Gale, has just been strike 1, strike 2 to everybody. Cubs have been hitting in very defensive counts all day long. And frankly, haven't had nearly the scoring opportunities that St. Louis has had. And I've said it a couple of times. Cardinals, until the 7th inning, had left at least 1 man on base in every inning of this game. We're fortunate that it's just a 4-2 St. Louis lead right now. So the base is empty with 2 men out. And Eric Young, the Cub hitter. Line into right center field. There's a start. It comes with 2 outs.
Well, this is what's going to happen, Chip. See, EY's on base now.
Right.
If we can get some other action going here. Sammy Sosa hit 2 home runs on this day a year ago.
So, hey.
And he's due for another one then.
That's true. We'll
get
take
Ricky
it.
to do something here.
We'll take it.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Ricky's had another good day. A single, a walk. He's also grounded out. And the Cubs have done all of their scoring today with 2 men out. So that's the situation here in the 7th inning.
And Gail, you've made great calls in the studio before.
That's right.
So.
It's my prediction right here.
We'll hope you're right. Believe me. 4-2 Cardinal lead. Young a threat to steal. And Stevenson steps off and looks over. Steve Rain is up in the Cub pen. Cardinals have activity in their bullpen as well. Hottest day of the year at the ballpark today. And Stevenson has cooled off the Cubs.
Yeah, you talk about these ejections. I think everyone has a short fuse in this heat.
Yeah, it's been.
No one's taken anything.
It's been a frustrating day for the Cubs. Really a frustrating year offensively for this team. When you look at the Cardinals bats, they've scored about 100 more runs than the Cubs have this year. And that's hit weakly out of play as Gene Stick-Schulte warms up in the St. Louis pen. Ricky down 2 quick strikes.
Stevenson getting up there in pitches, 116. I think the big number there, though, is 72 out of that for strikes. He has been painting all day.
Yeah, you throw 70% strikes, you should win. Or you at least should have a chance to, and he does today. Young had a big lead. Clark with a swipe tag. And Eric is back safely. Not much air movement in the bowl of the ballpark. Maybe Ricky can move some with a base hit here and bring Sosa up with a chance to bring the Cubs closer in the 7th. Gale's prediction on the line, and that up and under.
Did he get him?
Oh no, he got dusted. That's what they used to do in the old days when somebody would be hugging that plate. And that one got away. 2 Cardinals have already been hit today.
And he has rushed a couple guys upstairs. Wow.
Chip, I saw you at Oscar Acosta's son in here last night.
Yeah,
How'd
we have.
that go? Is he a budding broadcaster?
He's terrific. You know, he's got a girlfriend. That was the big story that we scooped out. Mom and Dad didn't know he had a girlfriend. They know now. Well, he was terrific. Nice young man from New Mexico. And the 1-2 pitch instead won't be made. What I was most impressed with was not the yes sir, no sir type stuff that young Ryan was talking to me about. But he wanted to say hello to his 1st grade teacher. This is a kid going into 6th grade next year.
It's
well,
nice.
It's nice to see a young man remember one of the adults who was instrumental in his upbringing as a youngster. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ricky. Young starts, then stops, and Ricky swings and misses. Tomahawks the bat into the dirt, and that sums up the way the Cubs have felt offensively the last 5 games. Gale, nice job with the stretch.
Thanks, Chip.
Ball game.
All right, my prediction didn't come true, but oh well.
Here's our Dodge drive of the game, and you get 3 guesses as to who does it. Actually, you only need 1 guess. Sammy Sosa hits his 38th home run. That made it a 2-1 Cardinal game, but they have not surrendered the lead. They lead by a 4-2 score in a double switch. Steve Rain is on to pitch. Rain bats 9th. Jose Nieves on to play 3rd base. He'll bat 7th for the Cubs. And here is Rain, who will try to rally from that most disappointing start to this homestand. He gave up 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning against Cincinnati, including 3 home runs. 1 to Griffey, 1 to Young, 1 to Reese. Farnsworth works an inning, 2 strikeouts, a hit, and a hit batsman. Or beg your pardon, a wild pitch for the Cubs. And so Rain goes to work and faces the top of the St. Louis order in inning number 8. And that means Placido Polanco.
And the whole key for Steve Rain is to get that forkball over. And the other day against Cincinnati, that was not the case.
Don Baylor was ejected on the strikeout call of Gary Matthews Jr. So Rene Latchman will manage the team the rest of the way. And you know, Don Baylor frustrated in that Cubs clubhouse right now. A line drive right field for a base hit by Polanco.
Polanco does a great job of staying on Steve Rain's forkball. Steve Rain's forkball will move away to a righty. And Polanco keeps his head down inside the ball in a bullet to Sammy Sosa and right.
6 times in 8 innings now, the Cardinals have had the leadoff man on. Rain is greeted rudely, and here's J.D. Drew, 0 for 2 with a pair of walks and a stolen base. Cardinals by 2. Cubs still have 2 at-bats left. But Rain's got to hold them right here. But again, going back to what we said before, this is a Cub team that may be the biggest surprise about this club this year is the fact that its offense has been so inconsistent. Henry Rodriguez, while he was still here, did not have a particularly good year for the Cubs. Mark Grace has not had a Mark Grace-like season. That's a high pop-up that someone should handle. Nieves in foul ground calls everyone off, and just does make the catch. That was an adventure. 3rd base has been a revolving door for this team since Shane Andrews went down with back surgery. And that despite having Eric Young and Ricky Gutierrez playing very good baseball in the top 2 spots in the order. This team just for some reason has not been able to click offensively this year. And that again is something that everyone hopes will be addressed in the offseason, and hoping that Rondell White will be able to help out with as well. As Edmonds hits, he's 1 for 3 and was hit by a pitch.
And I think early on the Cubs were also hurt in their bullpen. They did not have the soldiers in order
there's
early
no
on.
thinking about it. That was true.
And now it seems like the bullpen has settled down to a certain extent. Todd Van Poppel today throwing 3+ innings, only giving up 1 run, and threw the ball well.
But you think back to how much good pitching, good starting pitching we saw in that Cincinnati series, and it was wasted.
Exactly.
That really is what hurts you the most. For you can think about what could have been. No one expected the pitching to be this good, quite frankly. Not with Kerry Wood missing some time, not with the disappointing year that Ismael Valdez had before he was shipped out to Los Angeles. But that's part of the excitement about this time of the season. Not only do you have a chance to say you're still in it, which the Cubs are, but you also have a very good chance to evaluate what you have at the minor league level and find out who can help you next year and who can't. And the Cubs certainly are trying to do a little bit of both of those things now.
And there's a man you can build a ball club around. He's having another terrific year. And playing a good right field.
1-2. Out of play down the left field line. And again, that was another factor when the 2000 chapter of the Cubs is written. The Sosa distraction for about a month or so was a very real one, not just for Sammy, but for this entire team. Because every day, every time a reporter came up to anybody with the traveling party, whether it was Sammy Sosa or the writers, the broadcasters, it was, when is Sammy going to be traded? Rain can't stop it up the middle. Race to the bag, not in time. Throw to first, wild past the bag. Funny looking play. Ricky Gutierrez gambled, tried to get Polanco, couldn't. And it's an infield hit for Jim Edmonds. First and second, 1 out. If Ricky has that to do over again, he just gets the man at first, takes the sure thing. Instead, he gambled and got burned.
And this is a changeup back at Rain, who probably should have had it. Gutierrez battling the bag, bounces over the bag. Polanco does a good job of busting this up.
I think you're right. Steve would tell you probably should have had that ball. As Steve Stone says, and he's right, when you let go of that baseball, you're the 5th infielder, and a ball hit that slowly, you've got to somehow find a way to knock down. And glove. Rain couldn't. Infield hit for Edmonds, his second of the day. And the Cardinals have 2 on with 1 man out. And Will Clark in the batter's box. 4-2 St. Louis in the 8th inning.
And Chip, that is why it is so critical that you as a pitcher.
Did you see that, by the way?
No.
On the check swing by Clark out of reflex, Jeff Reed pointed his glove toward third to ask the umpire. There isn't one there. He said, oh, wait a minute. See? And then he said, hey, wait a minute. He's between second and short. 1-0 pitch. Double play ball. Young to Ricky to first. It's in time. Double play. Inning over. Rain gets the ground ball, double play, twin killing. The Cardinals fail to score. Again, they're 1 for 10 with scoring position opportunities, and the Cubs.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Southwest Airlines. Log on for low fares at www.southwest.com. A symbol of freedom. Hyundai, where driving is believing. Your local Ford store. Quality people, quality products. AT&T Cable Services. And by Toyota. See your Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana Toyota dealers. Real value every day.
Here's a look at hard-throwing Matt Morris. Just 26 years old. Turned 26 6 days ago. Big 6'5", 210-pound right-hander who underwent Tommy John surgery after tearing his elbow ligament in spring training. Now he's coming out of the Cardinal bullpen. And he has, when he's right, overwhelming stuff. Won 12 games in 1997, made 33 starts and worked 217 innings as a St. Louis rookie. He faces Sammy Sosa in the 8th inning with the Cubs down 2 runs. A high chopper hit up the middle. Renteria gloves, grabs, guns, close play, but he got him. 1 man down.
And Renteria has made some great plays charging the ball. Here was Sosa. Ground ball, and Renteria got on his horse to make the nice play. And what a luxury it is for Tony La Russa to go to a guy like Matt Morris out of the pen, and you take a look at Renteria throwing a strike to Will Clark.
Well, Morris picked up the win on Saturday against Milwaukee. Grace another chance for the shortstop, and his perfect day is done. He's 3 for 4. Morris won for the first time since the 22nd of September of 1998. And it's one of the good comeback stories in baseball, as he has enormous stuff. Here's Rondell White. White 0 for 3 today, coming off a 3-hit game yesterday. Outs getting scarce, so are innings. Cardinals lead 4-2, 2 outs, bases empty, bottom half of the 8th. Cardinals again have a chance to put the first score on the scoreboard today. Only one other game in progress now. Colorado is in New York. They're playing the Mets, and they failed to score in inning number 1. High jam job, straightaway center. Edmonds camps out. Morris has a very easy 8th inning. 1, 2, 3 and out we go in the 8th, and now it's to the 9th. Redbirds by 2. We go to the 9th inning. It's a 4-2 Cardinal game. Here's Fernando Tatis. Tatis has a base hit, scored a run. That was back in the 3rd inning for the Cardinals, when they took a 3-1 lead. Cubs came back and got a run to make it 3-2, but not been able to even the score. And so Stevenson and Arnold are the pitchers of record, and Rain fires a quick strike over for a 0-1 count. Tatis, a very painful 52nd RBI, was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in that 1st inning by Arnold, who threw 64 pitches in his 3 innings as a Cub. Nothing in 2 to Tatis. Looking ahead to the 9th. The Cubs will have Reed, Nieves, and then Gary Matthews Jr. due up. Steve Rain, the pitcher, is due to hit 4th, but of course he would be pinch hit for. Ground ball hit to the left side. Nieves, good pickup. He's got a real good arm, and Grace a real good pickup. Nice play at both ends, Dave. 1 man down in the 9th.
Well, Nieves shows great range here, and we saw that early on with Jeff Houston, who started. Nieves, normally a shortstop, showing the great range. And Chip, you're right, he has got a hose. Great arm.
Here's Langford. Ray Langford today. He is hitless. He's walked and scored and ripped a sacrifice fly. Four to 2 St. Louis. They'll be happy to take even 1 out of 3 against the Cubs. Well, that would mean all we could muster would be a 1-game shaving off that double-digit Cardinal lead over the 3rd place Cubs. But again, this was a game where, really, in all honesty, Stevenson was in complete and total command all day long. The Cubs did not have many scoring opportunities, and the ones they did have came with 2 outs. In fact, both Cub runs came with 2 outs today. He was just strike 1, strike 2. Very low pitch count through most of the ball game. And the Cardinal offense was just good enough. What's been the biggest surprise today is that with the wind blowing out so briskly, only 6 runs came home so far.
Well, I think as a pitcher, Stevenson recognized that some guys were trying to lift and separate, trying to go deep and hit the ball out of the ballpark. And what he did, he was able to change speeds, keep guys off balance. And Chip, early on, you mentioned changing levels, did a great job of that.
Through that pass, Langford. Cardinals had the leadoff man in 6 of the 9 innings played today. The Cubs have done it once in 8 innings. That's the difference in this game, to my way of thinking. The 2-2 pitch. God, Langford, tough pitch, down and in. He swung over it. He's down on strikes for the 3rd time today. Rain has his first strikeout, 2 outs, bases clear.
And Rain brought the mail to Ray Langford. Good hard fastball that cut just a little bit in on him, and Langford was not able to pull his hands in.
So one more hill to climb for Rain here. It's Renteria, who's had a resurgence in Chicago. Remember, this is a man that came in 0 for 14. He has 4 hits in the first 2 games against Cub pitching. 3 singles, a double, 2 RBIs. And if he starts to hit, if Edmonds starts to hit, look out, because that's what the Cardinals have been missing. They've also missed Mark McGwire, and he's still out indefinitely. Right through there, evens up a ball and a strike. And for the Cubs, the beat goes on. Who will provide some consistent offense for this team? Into the seats. It's 1-2.
Renteria had a good hack at a Steve Rain fastball. We've seen Van Poppel today throw the good hard fastball, and it looks like Rain's got a good one.
One-two pitch. And the Cardinal shortstop stays alive. Cubs still alive, but we're in the 9th, down 2 runs. Hard to believe it's already August 15. 1-2 pitch to Renteria. Line, Young caught it. And that ends the St. Louis 9th. Renteria's bid for a 3-hit day is foiled. Eric hadn't played just high enough. Final chance for the Cubs, trailing by 2. 4-2 is our score. We head to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and our Hyundai player of the game is Garrett Stevenson, the fine starter for St. Louis, who's 3 outs away from earning his 13th victory of the year. And Dave, he made it look real easy today.
He really did. He had a good changeup to go with that live fastball. You know, he's not a gas master. He's not going to rush it by a lot of guys, but with that changeup, you can get away with that high fastball.
So the Cubs need 2 just to tie here in the 9th inning. And Matt Morris trying to earn his 3rd save of the year. Reed is 0 for 3. Then Nieves is due. Then Gary Matthews Jr. Then the pitcher spot. Cubs would then in all likelihood bring on Brant Brown, for he is our final left-hand bat available today. Reed up and in. That one sails all the way to the bricks. And that's ball 1 inside.
I don't know about that one. I don't think Jeff Reed knows about that one either. This pitch buzzes him.
The next one buzzes the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-1. fly straight away left, and Langford dead in his tracks, puts it away. There's one man out in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And Jose Nieves will be the batter. He'll hit for the first time in the game today. The Cubs have used 3 third basemen. Jeff Houston started. Willie Green relieved him. Now Jose Nieves, our third baseman. And Jose takes a strike. This is perhaps the position where the Cubs have their most glaring need, and that's third base.
Exactly. You need pop at the corners. And with Mark Grace not hitting a lot of home runs, you need somebody at third base to pump the ball out of the ballpark.
Or be a run producer for you.
Exactly.
And Shane Andrews, when he was healthy, was able to do that. It came with a very high strikeout total.
Right.
But he was a power threat. He can't hit the ball out of the ballpark. But Willie Green, 1 for 21 now. Nieves, with his 10th hit in 63 at-bats, gives the Cubs a chance now to tie the game with one swing of the bat. Morris makes a mistake on an 0-2 pitch. And that might prove to be deadly here, as Matthews is the hitter. He was caught looking his first time up.
And Morris up to this point has played good old country hardball with a good fastball. And with this pitch to Nieves got a break, got a hanger. Hanging breaking ball, Nieves put a hurt on it.
So the tying run comes to the plate. It's Gary Matthews Jr. He has hit a home run. And if memory serves, it was a pinch hit home run for the Cubs. And it was against Atlanta's Bruce Chen on June the 20th. It was his first major league homer. It was his first major league pinch hit homer. And that one way outside, ball 2. Just in case the Cardinal pen is up. Tough adjustment for a man that's used to starting to come in and pitch with the game on the line, no matter the talent he has. Kyle Farnsworth's going through that for the Cubs. Matt Morris going through that for St. Louis right now. And out pops Dave Duncan to try to restore some order here.
Well, it's much easier to make the transition from a reliever to a starter, because basically as a reliever, you've got to be on time with 2 pitches. You've got to be able to throw your fastball over for strikes immediately, along with your breaking ball. We saw it in Kyle Farnsworth today, where Edgar Renteria jumped all over a fastball, second pitch of his appearance. And Matt Morris struggling here a little bit with his breaking ball. We saw that Nieves breaking ball, base hit.
Brad Brown waits on deck. 2 balls, no strikes. And that's in there for strike 1 call. Dave Veers up in the Cardinal pen in case Morris has any more trouble. 2 balls and a strike. A little pop into the seats, 2-2. Colorado has scored first in New York. They lead the Mets 1-0 in the second. Here it's 4-2 St. Louis. A 2-2 pitch. Line into left center field. Pretty deep, but it's playable for Edmonds. He's got it. 2 down. So Brad Brown, the final hope for the Cubs. And he'll bat with Nieves at first. Brad Brown maybe got the break he was looking for in the game yesterday. A little bloop with the infield in, just out of reach of Edgar Renteria in the 8th inning. A pinch hit single for Brad Brown. And now that's going to do it for Matt Morris. He won't be able to get the save, or he won't be able to finish the game. So Morris works an inning and 2/3, gives up 1 hit. No walks or strikeouts. And now it'll be Dave Veers coming on to try to get the final out. The Cardinals leading the Cubs 4-2 with 2 outs in the 9th. Well, here's the well-traveled Dave Veers on to try to pick up his 20th save of the season. He has only got one save since the All-Star break, if you can believe that, for the Cardinals. 33-year-old right-hander, originally an Oakland A farmhand. He's played for the Dodgers from Mexico City of the Mexican League, the Astros, the Expos, Colorado, and now St. Louis. Came over with Darryl Kyle and Luther Hackman for Jose Jimenez, Manny Ibar, Rick Crawshore, and Brent Butler before Thanksgiving of 1999.
And former teammate of mine in 1990 in Tacoma, Washington. AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's. Boy, what a story he is, coming back, turning into a closer. Originally a starter, great fastball and a forkball that you've got to lay off when it's down.
Well, let's see if Brant Brown can equalize the game. Not with that one. Strike one from Veers. This is another area where the Cubs, I think, are going to try to improve themselves next year, their bench, especially from the left side. We've gotten very little from Brant Brown as a pinch hitter this year. In fact, he's 2 for 13 with the Cubs. That one line foul past first and over the head of Billy Williams. And now the Cubs down to our final strike. A lot of the Cardinal fans start to make some noise here at Wrigley. 4-2 they lead. It's 1-2. Eric Young waits to hit next. Cubs need 2 to tie. There are 2 outs. And that's an encouraging sign. 1-2. Skips away. Wild pitch. Nieves around second. And Matheny just able to stop it before the ball trickled into the dugout.
We have seen some wild pitches today, and Vera's trying to bury that forkball down, and it rattles around. When Vera's warmed up, the first pitch he threw hit the ball. I mean, he launched it. Maybe Browning can get a pitch in the zone here and drive it.
Runner at second means nothing. Cardinals have a 2-run lead. It's the man in the box they're worried about. The pitch. And it stays 2-2. Kevin Tapani, Darryl Kyle tomorrow in the series finale. Will the Cubs be playing for the series win or for the sweep? The 2-2 pitch. He struck him out, and the Cardinals win the game 4-2. Veers gets save number 20. And the Cubs fall back to 10.5 games out of first place. St. Louis wins their 65th of the year. Veers his 20th save, second since the All-Star break. And the series, Dave, I don't know, even at a game apiece, as Garrett Stevenson was absolutely magnificent today.
He really was, Chip, and he got it done with a good fastball, not overpowering, but he was able to change levels, throw that fastball upstairs, and then go with the breaking ball. Don Baylor gets tossed out of this ball game, arguing balls and strikes, and Garrett Stevenson all day long was painting in and out, changing speeds. And what a luxury it is for Tony La Russa to go to someone like Matt Morris, who goes an inning and 2/3, throws good hard fastballs, and then to turn it over to Dave Veers.
So the Cardinals put the first score on the scoreboard today. Pressure's on Cincinnati now. They play in Milwaukee a little bit later on tonight. Reds must win just to keep pace with the Cardinals. They're 4.5 games back. Cubs lose a game again. We're now 10.5 back and fall back to 10 games below the 500 mark. A wonderful outing by Garrett Stevenson. Rough outing for Jamie Arnold for the Cubs in his Cub debut, but Van Poppel, Farnsworth, and Rain threw 6 one-run innings of relief out of that Cub pen. Another encouraging sign for them, as well as Sammy Sosa, who rips another home run, his 30th 8th of the year. 4-2 is our final score, and we understand Cardinal catcher Mike Matheny is sitting downstairs, ready to talk to us about this big St. Louis win. Mike, can you hear us?
I got you, yeah.
Mike, first of all, catch your breath. I know it was hot down there. How bad was it down on the field today?
You know, that's probably the roughest I've had this season. I feel for Kerwin. I hope he's all right. But, you know, we had no breeze behind the plate, and I was wondering if there's going to be a race, which one was going to go first, me or him.
Well, I'm sorry that anybody went. We understand that Kerwin is doing okay, a little heat exhaustion, so that certainly is good news. And let's talk about your day first. A 3-hit day, your second one of those on the year, and a big RBI for you guys. A stat for you all. You've had trouble with men in scoring position all year. You were able to come through with a big base hit for the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's been a nemesis for me all season, where not necessarily haven't been putting pressure on myself to hit 350, but you know, I feel I can help this team out in situations like that, do the little things, move the runner up, and get a guy in, and get a big knock every once in a while. I think that's all that's expected of me, and haven't been doing a great job of it, but here lately we're starting to turn the tides, and hopefully we'll make a run right here at the end and do it a little more consistently.
I know you guys have been asked this an awful lot, but talk about the psychological aspect of playing without Mark McGwire for an unspecified period of time. It seems like from time to time, at bat to at bat, you have guys trying to hit a 5-run homer instead of just getting a base hit. Do you guys sense that as a team?
Well, I don't sense an overall state of panic. As far as Mark, I think anybody would be lying if they said we don't miss him and we don't want him in the lineup. It'd be great to have him here, but that's something we've had to go through all year. Our bench has done a great job. We've had guys go down. We've had different guys step up, and right now I think it's just all over the team. We're having a little bit of trouble getting the big hit, and we're not taking advantage of opportunities that we did earlier in the season. Whether Mark's here or not, he couldn't carry the whole weight on his shoulders either. But you know, I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that he'll be back here soon, and I know that'll be a big boost for us. Talk
about consistency. How about your starting rotation? 5 guys have taken their turn every 5th day. Today it was Garrett Stevenson, and he had great stuff. I mean, he was in command from the opening bell.
Garrett surprised a lot of people, and he's been a great asset for us this year. He's come out, and very rarely has he had an outing where he really wasn't working his spots. He's a great control pitcher. He's been mixing up his speeds well. I think we're just going to see more good things from Garrett Stevenson. The rest of the guys have done a great job too. You don't keep running the same 5 guys out there for no reason. I mean, that's something I know these guys are really proud of, that our pitching staff's taking care of each other. The pen's picking us up, and you know, we got a long way to go here. We got a long month, and I'm really expecting a lot out of this staff, and I know they're expecting a lot out of themselves.
Last question before you pass out down there. What do you think of this Cardinal-Cubs matchup?
Well, it's a great
rivalry, isn't it?
It's a great rivalry, and it's especially here at Wrigley. We like it at home as well, but you see all the life here, and we're anxious to get out there every day. It's a great atmosphere, and it's great for baseball. But right now, I think we're just making every game kind of like it's the best rivalry of the year, because we need to take advantage of them.
Well, Mike, I appreciate your patience. Your time is appreciated by all of us, and the first IV is on me.
Thanks a lot.
Mike Matheny, catcher for the Cardinals, a big day today. 3 hits, an RBI, and he caught the winning pitcher, Garrett Stevenson, as the Cardinals even the series at 1 game apiece. We'll step aside, take a break, and come back to a very hot and humid Wrigley Field right after this.
All right, this series is all tied up at 1 game apiece now. The Cubs fall to the Cardinals today. 4-2 is your final, and Garrett Stevenson pitched extremely well for St. Louis, holding the Cubs to just the 2 runs. Jamie Arnold, making his Cubs debut on the mound, did not fare as well. However, the Cardinals did only get 4 runs, Dave, so it's not like they lit him up at all.
No, and really, Garrett Stevenson was outstanding today, Gal. And being able to change speeds the way he did today, changing levels with all his pitches. He'd throw fastballs upstairs and then go with the curveball. And with the strike zone, you know, in and out, he was able to paint too. So just a great outing for Garrett Stevenson, who really started the year off well for the Cardinals, going 8-0 and has struggled as of late. But what a luxury for Tony La Russa and his ball club to have the same 5 starters all year long up to this point, and then to be able to go to somebody like Matt Morris in the 8th inning, going an inning and 2/3.
Yeah, they did well. Let's take a look back at the highlights now, see how this one unfolded. We start in the 1st inning, and there he is, Jamie Arnold, in some trouble early. Jim Edmonds with the single to left. Rondell White can't make the play. And later in that inning, bases loaded, Arnold hits Fernando Tatis, and the run will score.
And Sammy Sosa got all over an early Garrett Stevenson pitch, drove it out to left field to put the Cubs on the board, but Jamie Arnold really struggled with his control, hitting 2 batters, then running into trouble here. Matheny, 3 knocks on the day, driving in Tatis to give the Cards the early 3-1 lead. There he gets Vina on a strikeout, and an argument ensued, and at that point, Kerwin Danley, still in the ball game, tosses Vina.
And here, Mark Gray singles to center, scoring Ricky Gutierrez. The Cubs did cut the lead 3-2.
And Kerwin Danley leaves the ball game. Boy, it was some kind of hot. Thankfully, he is okay. But the story today again was Garrett Stevenson and the Cardinal defense. Here, Tatis robs Rondell White. Rondell White got robbed twice in this ball game. Renteria jumps all over Kyle Farnsworth on in relief of Todd Van Poppel in the 7th inning. And then Dave Veers closes it out for his 20th save of the year.
And there is your final score, 4-2. Stevenson, of course, gets the win. Losing pitcher is Jamie Arnold. And David, looked like in the beginning, perhaps he didn't have a lot of control and wasn't quite sure of himself in his pitches.
Well, I think, you know, he's got big league experience, so I don't know if that was so much the problem today, but you're right, as far as command, he did not have good command, and really started the ball game off throwing some fastballs and missing away or in on lefties, and then on an 0-2 pitch here to Tatis, he dots him. And then Jim Edmonds, he gets him also, so struggling with his control and didn't have his good breaking ball. Here he hangs one to Matheny, and he gets the knock. So overall, did not have good command of his off-speed stuff. And on the flip side, Stevenson had great command of all of his pitches.
Yeah, and Arnold just 3 innings he lasted. I did get a little nervous there with that sequence of hitting batters. I thought, oh boy, someone's going to charge the mound. They didn't.
Well, you know, I mean, that was interesting because Jeff Reed in that 9th inning, Matt Morris did buzz Jeff Reed. And that's not to say that that was a retaliation, but at the same time, as manager, Tony La Russa, certainly Jamie Arnold is not trying to hit Fernando Tatis in the 1st inning with the bases loaded. That was unintentional. So overall, none of those were intentional. However, Matt Morris did buzz Jeff Reed. But again, I think that was also unintentional.
And Garrett Stevenson, it looked like he might have some early trouble too with the Cubs scoring, but then he got on fire.
Boy, you know, I mean, that's the whole adage. You know, get him early, because the key with Garrett Stevenson is once he finds all of his pitches and is able to use them effectively, he can flip it up there good. And when he's able to change speeds like that, guys start worrying about the changeup or the breaking ball, and then he goes to that good hard fastball. And every time Garrett Stevenson got in a jam in today's ball game, he had that little bit extra. He was able to reach back and throw it right by some guys.
And how does this heat, this weather affect you, especially the pitchers on the mound?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than to pitch in this weather. The only time sometimes it affects you, obviously, it will drain you. And Garrett Stevenson up over 115 pitches in this ball game. And the key for Garrett Stevenson, by the way, is the amount of strikes he threw. But overall, it really doesn't affect you that much as a pitcher. It's easy to get loose. Sometimes it's difficult to throw the breaking ball because what happens is your fingers get wet from all the sweat and you're not able to throw that breaking ball. That's why rosin is so key.
Yeah.
When you put rosin on, get your fingers nice and sticky and you can throw the hammer.
Yeah, they needed a lot of that today. I hear we're having a cool front move in for tomorrow, so when Kevin Tapani takes to the mound, could be a little cooler, though we're still in August, so it'll probably be up around 80 degrees anyway, and he's going to face Darryl Kyle, so that is the matchup on the mound tomorrow. And Dave, we've got a lot of confidence when Kevin Tapani takes the mound.
Well, Kevin Tapani coming off another great outing, and he's got some easy cheese, and he's done it all year long. The Cubs are going to have their hands full also with Darryl Kyle.
And I had a chance to talk to Tap yesterday. Now, remember his last start on Friday, he hurt his knee a little bit, but when I talked to him, he said he's feeling great.
A lot better. It took a couple days to calm down, but it was able to run and do everything I needed to do. It's run the side today, so it should be they gave me the green light, said they'd throw me back out there.
So you feel good to make the start on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Okay. Do you feel any extra pressure at all knowing that you and John Lever are the two veterans of this pitching squad, and that I think people, when you guys go on the mound, this has to be a must-win for the Cubs?
No, I think we've probably both been around long enough to realize that I can't do any more than what if I'm the same person, and just because of this or that, or you feel like you must win, I'm not going to throw any harder, or my stuff's not going to get any better. I just try to take the same approach and go out and play the game, and each day see what happens.
You don't feel any extra weight on your shoulders as far as being the leader of this pitching squad?
No, I just go out and try and take care of my business and do my job, and hopefully that's enough to give the ball club what it needs to win that day.
Well, Kerry Wood said that he can tell every time you get on the mound or John Lever gets on the mound that the guys have a lot of confidence in you. Are you starting to see that at all with maybe Daniel Garibay or Ruben Quevedo, some of the other guys? Are you starting to see the confidence in them now?
Well, you always get that when you get a young guy to come up, you don't really know what to expect. We've been around them, we see that they're able to throw the ball well, but how you react starting or under a game situation, you don't really see, but they put solid starts together where guys, maybe like in Daniel Garibay start the first game, you saw comments in the paper on how he did a lot better than we expected, or we didn't really know what we were going to get, and he should have won the game. That's a good thing, because the next time you go out there and you do it again, you keep building that sort of thing, and it's the same approach I think that any pitcher gets. You have to get the 8 guys that are playing behind you to think we got a good chance of winning that day. That's the biggest part of your battle, and what you need to do is make sure all your teammates have confidence in you.
All right, so it will be Kevin Tapani and Darryl Kyle taken to the mound tomorrow for the 3rd and final game of the series. As for today, though, the Cardinals come out on top 4-2, and we are all even up at 1 game apiece. And when we come back, we will take a look back at Sammy Sosa's home run number 38. Stay with us.